official Dragons of Etchinstone launch live stream. Everything in the world is completely normal. The board game industry is completely normal. You know, everything's very certain right now. It's great, and we are certain that we are happy to see you. I am here. I'm actually joined by the designer of this lovely little pocket title. I assume you can see him on your screen. I can't see the live stream right now, so if you can't see him, I don't know. But we're here with Joe Clipful.
Hi, everybody. I can see me on the live stream.
Beautiful.
On my other screen,
One second here.
I can't see you.
Oh,
I mean, I can
he
see you,
pulling
but I
from the
can't
correct
see
source?
the screen representation. Are we good on audio and everything?
No.
One sec.
Okay. I'm going to continue to monologue for a second while they work on some technical issues. We're having a little bit of audio issue with Joe's stream, but
No, it's with you.
oh, it's with me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's with me. Can they hear me at all?
You're very quiet. I hear Andrew, so I think this mic is pulling right now. Thank you, Joe.
Joe, well,
My audio.
well, they work on my
Oh,
audio.
I see.
Well, they work on my audio.
Are we?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about why did you do this? Why did you do this?
Why would I do this? This
Yeah,
feels
why
like an
would-
accusation.
why would you do
suggest
this to us?
to people?
tell us about the thesis around dragons. Tell us how it was originally thought of. What was the inception of the idea? What's it trying to do? What makes it unique? Tell us everything.
Let's see. Dragons. The origin story. I designed it for a BGG print design contest. Joe sounds off too. But,
I will say we have Joe basically again. We're having some audio issues. We have Joe mic'd through we have a mic picking up the computer audio, so he's probably going to sound a little bit robotic. I promise he's not a robot. This is not an AI generated.
Let's just turn this.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. Dragons. I designed it for a design contest, BGG print play contest. It was actually going to be I was working on a different game at the time when they launched the contest, and I didn't have it in my head. So that game was something like what ended up being Dragons, but at the last second, I decided I'd like to turn this into an in-hand experience rather than on table. It was going to be like a mid-size, for me, mid-size game, since I tend to play the micro game space more often. The goal was like Mage Knight in 30 minutes, and so that was like the design ethos from beginning to end. And so then it was, how do I make something that feels like that in 18 cards in your hands? And so that's where like the brainstorming started happening, kind of the cascading, getting the few mechanical pillars in place. Like, what systems can I afford to try to port into this? What systems need to be abstracted away? How do I make something that feels like Mage Knight, but obviously isn't, and the constraints that we have. So, just kind of propping up those, if I was going to pour a bucket of water over Mage Knight, and all that was left was the core few systems that make it feel like Mage Knight. That's what I tried to start with. I paired it all the way back and then tried to tap on what I could to create the immersion and fill in the whole experience. So.
Sure.
No audio right now, guys, so.
We got no audio.
I mean, it's pretty much.
Sounds like your mic is off, they say.
Yes.
Do I need to turn up the gain on my end?
No.
I think I got it.
You got it?
Check. Check. Check.
Can you hear me now?
I love
Oh,
computer setup.
sounds better now.
Sounds better now.
Yay.
We okay?
Affirmation from chat.
I think so, yeah.
Gilly sounds great, they say.
Thank
Now,
you.
is it my
You.
voice or is it my audio?
It's probably. Yeah, don't stop making fun of Joe's voice, chat.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very normal voice.
Okay. Okay.
You
I'll
want to
take okay.
introduce the game?
Okay,
Repeat everything.
we're gonna start as if this is brand new. Sorry, this is our first time ever piping somebody in via a Discord call as it relates to one of our live streams, and it's introduced a bit of exciting audio challenges. Joe just finished explaining the entire game
So we're not going to do that again. I'm just kidding. We're going to start from scratch. Welcome, everybody. Dragons of Etchinstone live stream. Funding is going great. It's so funny watching the numbers go up. Compare, you look at something like the Elder Scrolls where things are going up like $500-$600 at a time, and this just keeps chugging along at little $30 increments. It's cute. It's quaint almost. But my name is Josh Welgus. You know me as Gilly. I'm all over the updates and the comments, and I've worked on a bunch of chip theory games. I am joined here today by the designer of Dragons of Etchinstone, Mr. Joe Clipful.
Hi everybody, I'm Joe.
What's your deal, Joe? Like what's your deal?
That's pretty open-ended.
Yeah.
We were talking about my love of dragons
Yeah.
earlier.
Top 5 dragons?
In particular. And I think I was forcing it because I don't know of that many. For someone who designs games with lots of fantasy, I'm not like a dragon expert. So I was really, I was at the bottom of the barrel. I got through like 2 named dragons. So we were already scraping the bottom.
Yes, beautiful. I don't think I could. I mean, you mentioned Smog or Smaug.
Smog.
There's like Puff, the
the
magic dragon. Right. I loved that song as a kid, having no idea it was about marijuana. Anyway, moving on. We're here with Joe Clipful. We're talking about Dragons of Etchinstone. The very first thing I want to open up this stream with is that things are very normal in the board game space right now. Things are very normal as it relates to Chinese tariffs. I know that has already been a hot topic in the comments in the 10 minutes I had to spend in the comments before I came down here for the stream. I just want to reassure everybody, and I know that they're probably going up another 50% today. That's what I heard right before I walked onto this stream. While I cannot speak for the broader board game industry, I cannot speak for exactly what the coming months are going to hold. As it relates to this product specifically, I think we are very fortunate that we are launching a pocket version, or a pocket game today, a micro game, so to speak, that has a fairly low cost of production and should be able to weather pretty much anything that is thrown at us within the normal scope of reality, even though it often feels like we're not living in reality right now.
Define normal, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, barring something like a trade embargo, barring something like 1,000% tariffs or something like absolutely mind-boggling, I just want to encourage all U.S. backers. We have set this game at a price point, and we have charged shipping in the U.S. specifically at a rate that we are very, very confident we can stick to no matter what. $15 was the MSRP that was decided before any of these tariffs went into effect. We have decided to subsidize U.S. shipping less than we had hoped originally, simply to account for the tariffs that we know are coming. But even if things escalate a little bit beyond this point, and they might, and we're hopeful that doesn't happen. We're hoping that people figure out a deal, or who knows. But even if things escalate to a level beyond where things look like they're escalating already today, this product is well positioned to be able to withstand those issues. We're confident in this price point. We're not looking to charge more. We had time to adjust things. We should be all right. And again, I also just want to clearly state to the rest of the world, if you're watching and not in the United States, that we have not adjusted the price to charge the rest of the world for tariffs either. $15 is the goal, is the entire thesis of this game. The reason, not the only reason, but one of the reasons that we signed this game in general is we wanted to create a $15 product that we felt was basically like best in industry. And again, that $15 price point was exceptionally important to us from the jump. It's got PVC cards, it's got beautiful foiling, it's way crunchier than anything in this form factor has any right to be, and we're going to talk to Joe more about that here in a second. But yeah, as it relates to tariffs, we cannot predict the future. I cannot tell you that things won't escalate to absolutely, crazy places. But if they do, we will mitigate it. We will figure out a way to move forward. And again, in the in the event of something really wild like a trade embargo, we would figure out, it might need, the product might need to adjust and adapt, and we may need to like even look at printing it stateside. It's a card game, so theoretically that's possible, even though it's very expensive. And if that were the case, we would give all backers an opportunity to pivot away from, if they weren't happy with the direction that anything was going, we would give backers ample opportunity to either seek a refund or change their mind or what have you. But as it stands right now, as with all the knowledge of what's going on that we have at this exact moment, we remain exceptionally confident in this price point and what we are charging on this campaign. And that's the extent that I can really talk about it, as obviously things seem to change by the minute, by the hour, certainly by the day, and just trust that we're going to be communicating with everybody as it relates to all of these things. It's a much bigger impact on products that have not left China yet, that have already been manufactured and that we've already charged people for. So the bigger threat to the broader board game industry, honestly, I know I'm like starting this stream with just a massive downer, but it's an important thing to talk about. The bigger threat to the entire board game industry, honestly, right now, the imminent thing is kind of stuff that people have already paid for, expecting it to cost one thing when it enters the United States, and now it's going to cost a very different thing. Thankfully, on this campaign, we had an opportunity to really look closely at all of that kind of stuff, and we had opportunity to adjust our price point accordingly on this product. Things like 20 Strong Tanglewoods, things like Roth that have not hit the United States ports yet, even things like Cloudspire. These tariffs are going to hurt a lot more on those products, but I can also tell you that Chip Theory games, and again, this is not a statement on the broader board game industry because every company is feeling this in different ways. Chip Theory Games is very well positioned right now financially to be able to weather this storm. That does not mean we're excited about it. That does not mean it is not deeply cutting into our profit margins. It hurts. Again, we are really hoping deals get figured out and this doesn't get turned into some prolonged thing, but we are not facing any sort of like existential threat as things sit here right now. And even though I probably look really tired and frazzled, it's not because I'm facing an existential threat. It's because I was here till 1 o'clock last night working on the campaign. So there you go. That's what I'll say about that. And folks in the chat, if folks, I'm sure there's going to be people joining late that are continuing to ask questions to this end. If you could help us out by please pointing people back to this early portion of the stream where we're answering that question, that would be much appreciated, because I really want to talk about more exciting and hopeful and fun things like dragons and Joe and micro games, and why he has such a weird, I hesitate to call it fetish, but you have such a weird obsession with,
I don't know if there's a better word for it.
there might not be, but with playing games in Palm. And we're going to talk about all of those things with Joe moving forward. So that's the last thing I'm going to say about tariffs on this stream. And again, in the chat, please direct people to that earlier statement if you see it being asked moving forward. So anyway, Dragons of Etchinstone, we are sitting right around $75,000 of mostly, aside from strategists, $30 pledges. And that just makes me so stinking happy. Joe, I'm going to ask you to repeat what you already said at the beginning of the stream, but tell us about how this game came to be. Why did you do this? Why are you doing this to us with the dragons and the journeys and the elements and the...
Am I on trial here?
You are,
yeah,
yes.
Like I need to...
explain yourself, darn it.
I don't know. Explain, yeah. It's just it's an interest of mine. I love micro games in general, and I love the design space. It seems to be sort of a, from a design perspective, it seems to be sort of a gateway into like innovation. Because if you hand someone a blank sheet of paper and you say, draw me a nice picture, or come up with something cool, invent something cool, like the blank sheet of paper is really hard to do that with. But if you apply constraints to it, like, hey, design me a cool adventure game, but you have to be able to hold it in your hands, then it's like the ideas seem to flow a little better. And so a lot of my designs start there. And so that was kind of how Dragons of Etchinstone started. So I designed it for a print and play contest on BGG in 21, I think, or 22, can't remember. And yeah, the idea was I want to make a game that feels like Mage Knight, which is right up there with as one of my favorite games. I wanted to take that with me. I wanted to have it in my pocket. And so I started thinking, is that even possible? The design contest popped up, and I thought, okay, I have some of these. Yeah, I was working on a similar but different game, so I had some of the graphic design elements done, and I had some ideas. And so I thought, could I potentially port this into something that is handheld, but still like makes you feel Mage Knight? And so that's where it started.
Yeah.
And so you have the overland adventure setting that's reminiscent of the big guy Mage Knight, and then you're facing enemies and journeys. So a lot of the staples are there thematically, but part of the challenge was how do you make that work mechanically, because you can't get around that. You can paint whatever theme you want on something, but the mechanisms have to sort of mesh with the theme so that you're not lying to the player and being like, hey, you're doing some adventure stuff, and then really you're just playing a little Euro game or something.
Right.
So.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that. So in terms of the things that you have designed, are designing, pointing to Gloomholden, which became Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, Behold Rome, you've got the Rome, what's the solo game of the month Rome game that you
Fate of an Empire.
Fate of an Empire. The things that you're working on tend to be these like micro designs, but you just said you really love Mage Knight. What do you spend most of your time like engaging with and playing yourself outside of the design space? Like, do you prefer to play smaller games like this, or is it more, no, I really love playing big games, but I just want to help make those more accessible? Like, what's your own personal taste? I'm curious.
It's fun. I've never once thought about the discrepancy between what I like to design and what I like to play, because I do, Mage Knight. It's a table hog, and I got to refresh on the rules every time I pull it out, and so it only comes out a few times a year. And if it comes out, I gotta have a place for it so it can stay out, because usually I don't have enough time to play a whole session in one sitting. But I do like the big. My taste is getting a little bit more grandiose as I go along in my hobby gaming journey. I think it started out really small, especially because I started getting into hobby games when, like, my kids were super little. Like, my son was just born, and so I didn't have time or space or brain power to set up big things. But I feel like as my kids are starting to get a little older, I'm starting to see the appeal of these more epic scope and scale games. So I do a PubMeeple ranking regularly because it's fun to rank things, and I like to. My taste keeps evolving like faster than I can keep up. But right now I'm really enjoying some of the bigger games like Mage Knight, some Civ builders. I like the Imperium deck builders. I like Through the Ages. So, but yeah, Lord of the Rings LCG has like taken over my gaming life. I know it's like dead now, but
well, they're releasing like a new. Aren't they releasing like a new, or like they're making it, they're like reprinting some stuff? I don't know. My brother's very into it.
There's repackaged content that has come out the last few years. So they took the most popular cycles and the saga expansions, and they were like, okay, let's get one last, little, let's squeeze some more profit out of this. But no, the repackaged content is good because you could theoretically just get that stuff and be fine and play a lot of quests and stuff and have plenty of player cards. But I myself am trying to go through progression style and working my way slowly through what everyone else experienced in 2011. So I'm only roughly 10 years behind the times.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to ask you this top question that's in the Q&A. I'm going to throw this one at you because it sounds like a backhanded insult to an extent. I don't know if it's meant this way or not, but the question is this just a small version of a real bigger game?
A real
Joe,
game?
This game isn't a real game.
Does it even exist?
This is just a facsimile.
This is Schrodinger's game? Yeah, well, and the thing is, that's a fair question. So I have
my own answer for this too from the chip theory side, but I want to hear your answer to it first.
Well, anything that exists is real. Oh, wow. Okay, that got existential. I won't even say that. I won't even say that. The game is a real game. It has its own identity. It's, I talked about how the innovation comes from the constraint. This is a lot more different from Mage Knight. For example, I shrunk Mage Knight into an 18-card version called Mage Light, and so you can find that on BGG and just download it as a print play.
Oh, there we go.
That is
That's
like
nice.
a one-to-one facsimile, like you said, that's as close to Mage Knight as you can kind of get, or at least as I was able to get. So Etchinstone has its own identity, it's its own thing, but you can certainly trace the lineage. Anybody who has played Mage Knight will probably be like, oh, okay, I see what he did there. So yeah, it's its own thing. It exists.
Yes. And I will just say, so one of the things that we on the chip theory side of things love doing is subverting expectations just across the board. If we have the opportunity to subvert almost any expectation, we will aim to subvert said expectation. Right down to, and I think some of the crazier examples that we've done over the years are things like the Automaton of Shale pop-up book adventure, where it was just like, what are they doing? That is bizarre and crazy. The puzzle deck that came with it, what we're able to do with componentry, the ways that we can reuse chips and that kind of thing. We have, we've talked about this at length between 20 Strong and Roth and even Victorum kind of started here, though it ended up being a full-on like $150 expensive game. We've also talked about what we can do in terms of like diversifying our portfolio, for lack of a better word. And some of that is in like the types of games that we make. Some of that is in the art styles of things that we make. But a lot of that is also in the price points that we make. I think there is a perception in the marketplace that most like little pocket games like don't have, again, like they're not real games. Like these are kind of like throwaway experiences, or like they're the type of thing you pull out as a last resort, et cetera, et cetera. And when we first encountered Dragons of Etchinstone, it was because my brother ordered it from the Game Crafter, and my brother does some web, our brother.
He's not my brother.
My brother does some web work for Chip Theory, and he's in the process of reworking our website. Look forward to that in the coming months. But he was up here doing a business meeting, and he was like, "Oh, my order from the Game Crafter arrived at my house back in Wisconsin." I was like, "What are you ordering from the Game Crafter?" And he was like, "Oh, it's a little solo game called Dragons of Etchinstone. It's got like a fantastic reputation in the solo community." And I was like, "And it's just published through the Game Crafter?" And that was like the genesis of like, we started looking into things. We found out that Joe was friends with a former college roommate of mine. It was a really weird sort of like journey to get here. But bottom line is, when I looked into Dragons, I was like alarmed at how much depth was in it. I was alarmed at how much crunch was in it. I was just like, how did he do this? I had never really paid, and there's, Dragons isn't the only one. There are plenty of other really great pocket strategy games out there. Tin and Iron Helm are great examples. There's other, even Palm Island has a lot of like really crunchy, good decision making in it. And this was just kind of like a world that I wasn't super familiar with. The whole micro game, our philosophy at Chip Theory for years has been more is more, not less is more. And that's just kind of been how we operate. And so like when I came across this game and we started like running it up the food chain for like, should we talk about publishing this thing? It was because there was so much real game inside of this massively deceptively, minimalist sort of package. And that's why we were so interested in it. Like, we're not interested in publishing a pocket game that is like hyper light and like, you kind of exhaust the depth of it in a couple minutes. Like, Dragons will keep you playing for a long, long, long time and thinking about unique strategies and rethinking how you build your card leveling and that kind of thing as you face the different dragons and the different regions and that kind of thing. And that's why we're so excited about it. It's got a ton of depth. It is a real game. It's Mage Knight distilled to an extent, and it's certainly inspired by Mage Knight. But it's a real game, all on its own, and I think once y'all start engaging with it, you're going to be really pleasantly surprised by how much depth and crunch exists in this little guy. So
And one thing I was thinking about too, in terms of how it like fits with the chip theory MO, because as I've played more of your guys' games, more so recently, so Cloudspire as an example, which is a game I had to learn to love, but I now love it. You know, it's one of those that
I have
takes
your
time. Yeah,
your
there's that
pocket
guy.
Cloudspire, yeah.
The core rules themselves are not that bad. Like it's a fairly simple system, and then you guys are like, cool, like we have elegance of the main core loop. Now let's just tack on so many like keywords and effects, and then these edge cases pop up, and the nuance comes from all the ways that those extra things interact. But it's because the foundation is so simple that you can, because look at all of the different factions you guys have made, and I looked at the recent Kickstarter, and like the way that every faction is so asymmetrical and like they do different things. I think that's because of the elegance of the core rules, and then you're like, bam, new keyword, and then that one bounces off of this one in that way. And I was thinking about Etchinstone, and yeah, the core loop is not that complex, but there's a bunch of enemy abilities. There's all of this nuance, and then the edge cases pop up, and so it does. If I didn't know any better, I would say, oh, okay, this is, like it's almost like it grew from the ground up from chip theory. So yeah, the more, and maybe it's just like, if you get a pet, all of a sudden you guys start looking like each other after a while. So maybe that's what I'm seeing because I want to see it, but
Could be.
like it does feel like a chip theory game to me from that respect.
Right.
And then the component, it's an in-hand game. You're handling the cards constantly, and so the PVC cards that just are indestructible are just such a good, because I know people who have bought multiple copies of it from the Game Crafter because those cards are really good for what they are, but they're the normal cardboard paper cards, and so those, for a game that you're constantly and your hands get sweaty, and my hands get sweaty.
You're a very sweaty man, generally speaking.
Right, you can.
Yeah.
You know that about me. Yeah. So yeah, the cards wear out after a while, but the PVC, I mean, it really makes sense from a production standpoint as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to tackle just a handful of these other quick questions I got coming in here. Will there be a PNP, a print and play version of the second expansion that is Siege? There are no plans for that at this time. We are going to take a look at just like the, and especially even with like some of the tariff conversation. Right now, we're not planning on offering a print and play version of any of this stuff. Again, like we have tried to really price it aggressively so that between the cost of like printing and playing your own version and sleeving it, honestly, like you're just going to be so much better off getting a like super solid indestructible version with fancy foil highlights and so on and so forth. If there's a huge outcry, I mean, again, I know this game originates in the PNP space, so there's a lot of folks that are looking for that. We will be paying attention to that and may look at that, but there's not going to be a print and play version on the old UX of the game. I can at least say that much. It would be like potentially offering the entire chip theory suite of this game in a print and play format if we were going to pivot off of that at all. Will the language versions be cheaper when they hit retail in the EU? No, they will not be. They are again especially after there's the licensing fee on top of everything for the language editions. This game was actually almost in its initial like cost to print. This game was very close to being too expensive actually for any language partners to jump on board, and we were able to find a solution for a lot of that. But no, it will not be cheaper in the EU in terms of its MSRP. Anyway, it will not be cheaper in the EU. And again, just reiterating again, there are no tariffs baked into the MSRP of this game. Full stop right now. When it comes out in the United States, if tariffs look crazy different in going into 2026, we might adjust MSRPs of all our products across the board in the United States to help weather that. But right now, that's not a thing. Is the game balanced yet, Joe? And if so,
is it balanced?
And if so, are there difficulty modifiers? And how would you rate the difficulty?
I can get really close. Well, let's see. Yes, it's balanced, but of course I would say that.
Well, I mean, again, so this game has existed in a purchasable state, and Northvale has existed in
22, yeah.
Yeah. So this is not Siege Withstanding, because Siege is a new expansion, and I'm gonna ask you some questions about that here in a minute. But this game has existed for a while. We have dramatically overhauled the UX for it and the art and like the aesthetic and everything. But like this is a well-regarded, like you can go on BGG and look at reviews. You can find even some videos. They're like not from a ton of huge channels, but like there's reviews for this game out there that exist. Sorry. So I'll let you answer from there.
No, you're good. I mean, I have to be anecdotal about the balance pre-Siege because when we were developing Siege, like I got access to Chip Theory's like pool of playtesters, and so I have a spreadsheet, and just I can tell you, I'm not going to, but I could tell you the exact win rate on different configurations. But yeah, the base game, I've played it hundreds of times by this point. Anecdotally, people are like, "Oh man, how'd you balance it?" Because it seems to come down to the wire every time. And if you play it enough and you start seeing the matrix, and you're like, "Oh, I see how it's sort of, it carries that knife edge feeling," then you'll probably notice that. But yeah, the game's literally started as a spreadsheet, which is not, that's not the most glamorous. If people think game design, they're like, "Oh, I just thought, well, a lot of it is spreadsheets."
It's all spreadsheets, man. It's all spreadsheets. People don't even realize.
I did a lot of math, and I don't like doing math, and I did a lot of math for that initial, in terms of number values and even mechanisms, it hasn't changed. It didn't change that much after my initial prototype. I got some good feedback during the design contest. Some of it was just UX stuff. Some of it was randomness mitigation to build in. And I got some really helpful ideas there, like the fusing cards. That was like a 2.0 prototype mechanism. The opportunity to sort of push your luck and go another way and kind of mulligan for another encounter, that came out of BGG user feedback. So, but yeah, it's in terms of difficulty settings too, that was the other half of the question. Yeah, like I'm a little bit compulsive about including a lot of ways to dial the difficulty in my games. Like people who have played my stuff will, and some of that is me premeditatively mitigating when it goes out into the world and a lot more people play it than me. Am I bad at my own game? Because that's happened before. Or am I really good at it and I'm making it too hard? And so like I really am an advocate of including a bunch of settings. So yeah, there's like, I don't know, 5 settings. One of them is even labeled "Don't even try it" difficulty setting.
Wow.
And
That sounds like a challenge.
I recommend, not trying it, but it's there if
Yeah.
you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great thought. Yeah, I as the resident guy who isn't that great at board games, that has kind of become I'm not even sure if it's true anymore at this point,
It's just people
or if
have
it's
told
just
it
like
to-
it's been
yeah.
like it's like one of those one.
Still true.
Because I win a lot of games against my friends, but when I play them against like people who work here, I tend to lose. So I don't know where I stand in the like average pantheon of gamer. But that is a thing. You can design a game or develop a game that you suck at. It's very much a thing. Just because you work on something or design it does not mean that you can see the matrix and can do the thing. I am still trying to beat Ascension 20 on Slay the Spire with the Silent. And I didn't design that game, but I've played that game so much, hundreds of hours, and I still can't solve the Silent on Ascension 20. It's a thing. So, who knows? But yeah, that's good. Yeah, there's, I think, 5 difficulty level,
I think
official
so,
levels.
yeah.
And on top of that, then there's 2 different modifiers that you can try that are like the glass cannon and I forget what the other one is.
Yeah.
No fusing.
No fusing, and then I forget the other one too. I never play with those. I recommend just using one of the difficulty settings and make it harder that way, because those get rid of some of your mitigation options, like going another way and or fusing cards is removed. But I'd rather make the game harder and then give you more tools to work around that rather than giving you fewer tools.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
I think it's more fun to have more agency that
Yep.
way.
Yep. Totally agree. And you can. We don't have the rule book. The rule book is in the process of being laid out. We have completely rewritten the rule book. We've changed a lot of terminology in the game, as anybody who had played the Gamecrafter version has probably already noticed. Things like your unused card are now called your reserve card. We've changed the action cards to be called mage cards. There's some things like that we're working through, and we are in the process of laying out the new rulebook. I don't know if we'll have a draft version of it before the end of the campaign or not, but we are trying. So, but you can download, I think there's several places on the internet that you can download the old base game rulebook, and you can check out the difficulty modifiers that are listed in there, so you can kind of see what, and those modifiers are coming over to the chip theory version, so you can check that out. Question for you, Joe, from our audience. Were you a fan of chip theory before this partnership? Answer carefully, Joe. Answer carefully.
Chip theory. I was chip theory curious. Can I say that?
You can say that, absolutely.
So the one I was most interested, you guys almost got me on 20 Strong, and you would have eventually, especially with some of the stuff in the pipeline, I was most curious about Cloudspire, because I heard there's a lot of crossover with the Mage Knight. Mage Knight people are a type.
Yes, they are.
We're notorious on the internet, and so they're like, there's a lot of like, if I like Mage Knight, what should I try? Or like, I like adventure games, and someone recommends Mage Knight, and they're like, no, that's a totally different category. That's like a Euro masquerading as a adventure game.
Right.
So yeah, no, I was very interested in Cloudspire. I have since played it, and it was work, because I don't learn games that quickly, and there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of nuance in those stinking. I told you about the little hummingbirds. What are they called?
The Elfinkazi, yes.
That was like hitting a brick wall. I was like cruising in the solo scenarios, having fun. I got the Brahmin down, and then I hit trying to operate the heirs, and then the scenario made me interact with the Elfinkazi, because I was just like, I'm just gonna get through the heirs scenarios, and I'm not gonna deploy those.
Right.
They're too scary. But then the scenario is basically like,
they forced
bonking me on the head and be like, no, you got to play them. Bonk. So yeah, no, I'm learning to appreciate dice. I prefer card games, but especially like the Too Many Bones. Once you play it, you realize, misses aren't really misses. They're just new information, and you can use that later. It's a resource in and of itself. So it's deceiving. It's the dice game for card game players. It feels like.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Absolutely.
Is that a good enough answer?
Yeah.
Did I please everyone?
I think you have effectively politically navigated these tumultuous
Beautiful.
waters. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, again, well, the story of how we got connected, I alluded to it earlier, but my brother ordered Dragons, and then I went down the rabbit hole of investigating, like, what's Dragons? And then I was like, who's the designer? Have I heard of the designer? And it was Joe Klipfel, and I was like, never heard of him. So I did a Facebook search for Joe Klipfel, and we had a handful of mutual friends, one being Price Johnson from Cephalofair Games, and the other being my old college roommate who lives in North Dakota, Kyle Kemp. And I was like, how is he friends with my old college roommate? This is weird. And I didn't think anything of him being friends with Price Johnson. I was just like, oh, whatever. And I sent Joe a message, the first place I should have gone was freaking Board Game Geek to look at your like design credits. Obviously, Facebook is the first place that I go like an idiot. And I message him like, hi, Joe. I don't know if you've ever talked to any major publisher before. You're probably clueless about the board game industry. I didn't say that, but that was kind of the vibe of like, have you ever...
That's how I remember it.
Yeah. Like, have you ever actually talked to a real board game company, Joe? And then you didn't get back to me right away. There was like an hour or two lag between your response and seeing my message and whatever. And in that time, I did a little bit more digging, and I was like, oh, good Lord. He's the co-designer of Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs. I'm an idiot. And that's kind of how we got connected. It wasn't because Joe was like some super fan of CTG or like had a history of working on dice games. Far from it. Yeah. Anyway, no, you answered that question very well. That was a great political answer.
I had my own foot and mouth moment with Kyle, because then I immediately texted Kyle and I was like, hey, you didn't tell me you were college roommates with like the VP of marketing at Chip Theory. And his response was, No, I did. And so I learned something about me that day, that I don't actually listen when people talk. I just wait for my turn.
Well, I mean, we both, whatever. If Kyle's watching, we both know Kyle well enough to know that, like, you can't always take him seriously anyway, so it's fine. Yeah. I am not, okay, so this question is, does working with chip theory games open up IPs that you are excited to try and design and produce? I'm not sure if I understand if this is a question to you, Joe, asking about, like, are there other like series that you would like to shrink? I'm gonna ask it that way. Because that's how I'm interpreting this question. Having worked with us, are there other games or universes or themes or IPs that you would like to shrink down into a pocket playable format? Which is a great opportunity for me to hold up this. And again, I don't think that we're going to publish this, especially because we have 20 strong Cloudspire coming. And I think having this in existence and 20 strong Cloudspire would be a really weird thing to market. And I say that because I've also already seen today questions of, like, is there eventually going to be a Dragons of Etchinstone 20 strong? And I'm like, I don't think that they're not really doing the same thing. So I don't think so. But you can go on Board Game Geek, and Joe does have a palm playable shrink of Cloudspire that you can download, and I think it's still, like, sort of in process in terms of that.
You can't download it yet.
Oh, you can't download it yet.
That's a tease, I guess. No,
oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have rules out there for it yet. So,
okay.
I mean, I can play it, and you can play it because you're holding one. But
right. So this is something that he's just done as kind of like a fan of the game and like what's possible sort of situation. But I'll let you answer the question beyond this and beyond like some of the other things that you've done. Like, are there other games you are actively working on attempting to shrink, or are interested in shrinking, or working on in general, even if it's not a shrink?
The obvious answer to that is, I mean, you guys have the Elder Scrolls IP, and so that would be a really fun one. And I've low-key started laying out a shrink of that, but I hadn't even shared that with you yet. And
right.
So, and I don't know if it's going to work. I've shared it internally with my Discord, and I haven't even made a work in progress. Because I have a bad habit, and so aspiring designers don't do this. Don't spend time making your prototypes pretty, because first of all, you might scrap the game and it might not work. And second of all, it's going to be that much harder to kill your darlings later when you have to, because you're like, oh, but it looks so pretty, and I put so much work into that layout. But it tends to be in my process as I'm trying to make it look as nice as I can, so I stay excited about it myself. But
right.
Yeah, I'm working on an 18 card on table version of Elder Scrolls, and it's just notes on a page and a couple of cards laid out, so it could crash and burn. But that would be exciting to play in that sandbox. Like, what a fun IP to be. But in terms of other IPs, I mean, Cloudspire I think it's an interesting universe. I like the factions in it, and there's a lot of depth there to mine, and so that's a fun one as well.
Yeah. Right on. We have crossed I guess we crossed it a little bit ago. We're over 2,000 backers, which is phenomenal, and we are slowly tiptoeing, because it's $30 increments, but we are tiptoeing towards the $100,000 mark, which is phenomenal. Really excited about how this is performing so far in the early going. Just a comment from somebody in the chat just saying that Dragons of Etchinstone and emailing you, Joe, actually inspired them to start their journey of small solo game design, and just says Joe is such a cool dude to get behind. So just wanted to share that with you in case you had not seen that in the chat.
That's sweet.
All right, so that's the end of the questions for right now. If you have more questions, please keep them coming. We will continue to answer them. I want to take a second to talk about, so right now on the campaign page, there is an amazing how to play video for Dragons of Etchinstone. So we're showing you how to play the base game. That is that's the most produced video that's going to be on the page throughout the campaign. We do have live streams upcoming over the course of the campaign that are going to detail out in more depth how to play Northvale, and then how to play the very, very crunchy and very mind-burning new expansion, Siege. Joe, because Northvale is kind of more of a known commodity, I'll ask you, can you give a brief synopsis of what your favorite part of the Northvale expansion is and how you think that expands the depth of the game. And then I want to just hear your thoughts on Siege and what that expansion is doing, and maybe what you think the highlights of that new expansion is. I have played the base game. I have not played Siege yet. I've kind of been waiting for our new UX version of it, which is only kind of wrapped up in terms of like full-on playability in the last week or so. So I haven't had a chance to try that yet. I'll just let you speak on expansion content and Siege specifically.
So I'm regarding Northvale. The biggest thing it does is it doubles the content in terms of the regions you get to play through and the number of bosses, and those have leveled up in terms of just the sheer number of abilities. So if you're like, hey, I wish there were more icons in this game, Northvale is for you.
If you love Cloudspire's keywords,
yeah,
check out Dragons of Etchinstone Northvale.
Layout was a puzzle.
Yeah.
So hats off to Bree and the whole department there. But the other big thing that Northvale adds is just playable characters. You swap in 4 of the cards from the base deck for whichever character you want to play as, and they have their own little puzzle going on. And again, if people are coming from Northvale was like, I wanted it to exist, and so I made it. There was one reviewer who was like, I wish there were just characters to play so I could have some identity in the world.
Sure.
But I wanted that to happen too, and part of it was for this to be a complete Mage Knight experience for me. I wanted to play as the Mage Knight characters that I liked, and so
sure.
People who are really are experienced with Mage Knight will recognize, this is sort of an homage to Ovac and how he works, and like Norwas's allies that he can, he's better with recruiting units and stuff like that. So there's some callbacks to that, but they're integrated into the Etchinstone system.
Mm-hmm.
It increases the complexity from this. I would say it's. I'm thinking of, so like in terms of replayability, I was thinking about this too. So like if you ever listen to the Secret Cabal podcast, they talk about replayability. They have like the 3 vectors of it. It's like discovery, improvement, and then the new fun factor, which is a cop-out, but it needs to be there.
Right,
Because it has to be talked about. But so base Etchinstone has like nothing new to discover. Once you've played through the regions once, you've literally seen everything. You can play through the different dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So the replayability comes from like the loop being fun to you, sort of the Sudoku effect of, my wife will play Sudoku, and I'll be like, it's the same puzzle over and over. And she said, no, it's just like the motions of it,
right, yeah.
She likes the puzzle.
Yes.
And so that's where I think the replayability of base comes from. It's really deep in terms of improvement, but it's not very wide in terms of discovery.
Sure.
And so what Northvale does is it broadens it a little bit, so you can, okay, now I'm going to play this character and try to master that character.
Sure.
You can even, if you're crazy, they all swap out different cards, so you can play as a party and swap in multiple characters if you want. But that gets pretty zany, and I don't guarantee that nothing, like you're not going to run into just something broken that's going to, explode and it all comes to pieces. I didn't playtest all the combinations. So that's Northvale. Northvale is just like, if you like base, it's more of the stuff you probably like.
Mm-hmm.
Siege is like a longer conversation about because
well, let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. Maybe, unless you have to go. You have a real job too, I think. So if
I'm trying to think about, because the main things. Pull me back if I'm getting too deep into the weeds and people aren't getting any meaning out of this. Thematically, Siege turns it into a tower defense game. So where the base game was, you're going out and traveling around, completing these journeys, taking on these enemies, and then you go find the final boss, the dragon. And so it's more overland adventure. Siege, both thematically and mechanically, is far more tower defense. And so you're stationary, and these waves of enemies are coming at you, and you're defending a specific structure. So like that's the second big thing. And there's a new card type called structures. And so you pick, I think there's 6 in the game, and these are different. Just thematically, you are a mage, and you're manning some part of the castle or another, whether it's the the walls or the towers or
The gates.
even some like defensive equipment like the ballista and all of that, the gatehouse. You're defending that, and there are no journeys in Siege. There's only enemies, but the enemies have a new stat you have to reckon with, which is a siege attack on top of their normal combat encounter. And that siege attack is what can get through and damage your structure, and so you're trying to do things like repair it, even upgrade it. Each card has 4 orientations, and so there's like the most rudimentary of tech trees. You can, flip it to upgrade it to this, or you can rotate it to upgrade it to that, and then you could flip it again to that 4th quarter of it, and you could upgrade it to that. So there's a lot of... I got the feeling that was people's favorite part when we were playtesting, was trying out the new structure. They were always commenting on that. They were like, oh, this one was way more fun than the last one I played. I really like the way it did this. It sort of leans into my play style. So I think there's a lot of, again, discovery regarding that. But the biggest change mechanically is you have a larger hand size, and you're making 2 action sets per turn instead of just 1. So like I said, there's no journey encounters. All of them are enemies, but they sort of bring a journey encounter with them, with that siege attack, because you're making 2 action sets. One is generating attack points, and one is generating move points. And the attack points interacts with the enemy in like the way that you're used to, and that affects your cards. Like you're taking damage and downgrading your cards, or you're spending your XP to upgrade your cards. But the movement set is basically playing defense against their siege attack. And so one cool thing is it introduces a new loss condition. So in base and Northvale, you can get knocked out, which you might just shuffle up at that point anyway, because you're like, my momentum's gone. But it's technically a fail forward where you could keep going and try to play it out. And I've won after getting knocked out. It's possible. But Siege introduces a new loss condition where if your structure gets defeated, it has its own hit points. And so if its hit points get all the way down to 0, then you can lose early.
Sure.
So it tends to be a bit of a pendulum or a triaging effect of you're trying to mentally keep track of, how am I doing in terms of my deck? Like, how are my cards doing? Are they leveling enough? Do I need to let my structure take a few hits so that I can spend a few turns trying to triage towards my deck? And then vice versa, like, I think my cards are pretty good. I want to be in a better position with my structure. Maybe if I upgrade it now, I can then feed that loop back into having better cards later because my structure is better. And so I don't know, maybe some playtesters are on the stream. I would say it's like at least 2 or 3x on the weight, on the complexity. And it was somewhat divisive. Like some people were like, I love base. I'm probably going to go back to playing base. But some people were like, this is what I wanted the game to be the whole time.
Right.
Like this finally, there were a handful of people who were like, the decision space just is blown wide open.
Right.
So it'll probably be either your favorite mode or for me, I'm actually kind of right in the middle. It is a lot of brain power to try to play it. And it's longer. It takes about an hour compared to the base game's 30 minutes. So for me, I play it only every once in a while when I have a little more time and when I want well caffeinated.
Yeah.
And when I want that more epic experience. It's like, if you want the most that Etchinstone can throw at you, then that game mode is there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Which again, par for the course with chip theory. Like that's why we love it. That's why we're excited to release it. It's like you've got the more micro experience in there in the base game, and then you do have the really, really hyper crunch, heavy decision making, heavy like things bouncing off of each other. If you've got like the trials and that kind of thing that are in place on the cards, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, really excited about that expansion. Again, we're going to be showing that off later in the campaign. As I mentioned, I don't even have a print and play version of it in front of me right now. We've sent out base game and Northvale to a number of content creators that will hopefully be covering it in the next couple weeks as well, on the new UX and on the new like sort of chip theory version of it. And then we ourselves will be covering Siege and going into more depth on that in coming streams. You answered this a little bit already, and by the way, again, we're getting toward probably the end of what we're going to do for the stream for today. So if you have any final questions, please throw them at us in short order. But you kind of answered this already a little bit, Joe. But like, just what are your favorite games? You mentioned Mage Knight. You mentioned that the
Oh,
Lord of the Rings LCG is taking over your life.
yeah. Should I give you my top 9? I did one recently.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I love talk. Well, so this is really flattering for you guys. Cloudspire is it has grabbed me and it's in a good spot. So latest one I did, Lord of the Rings LCG #1 spot. It was actually kind of a sad day when it edged out Mage Knight, but I couldn't deny it any longer. Mage Knight is my #2 game. Cloudspire coming in at #3.
At number 3,
right now,
holy cow!
It really is. It's the game I'm the most excited about right now. So it could still be honeymoon phase, but that's where it is right now.
That's awesome. Go late pledge for Cloudspire after you've pledged for Dragons of Etchinstone.
I'm not a plant. I didn't do that on purpose. Deus, which is a little bit more obscure.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, Z Garcia loves it. It's a probably light to middle. It's better Catan is how I pitch it to people when I want to play it.
Okay.
So it's Catan with, and it's like I also call it vertical wingspan. So wingspan, you run your engine from left to right, and you go boom, 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 and that's this is like you play a card and you run it from bottom to top as you're building out your different industries inside your. The Imperium deck builders through the ages, and then my last 3, my bottom row, I would just loosely describe as Carl Chetek, which not surprising. So like the Matai and I'm one of the 5 people in the world who really likes a GNC. So he's most known for Glory to Rome.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was
which,
like, that's not a designer name that I'm hyper familiar with. So.
Yeah, no, he's famous for. He keeps making the same game, but in interesting new ways.
Sure.
But that's not quite fair because some of them are quite different. But he's famous for multi-use cards and like the lead follow mechanism.
Sure.
So yeah, actually I haven't played Glory to Rome, which you can't find it anywhere unless you're willing to take a second mortgage. So
Gotcha.
But I would love to play it one day because Rome is like a theme I'm really interested in right now, and then I like his other stuff too. I like Matai and which is like a knockoff of Glory to Rome.
Sure.
A little tighter and smaller. So
Sure. Okay. Awesome. I'm not seeing any more questions come in, which generally, when I say that, somebody will throw like 5 lightweight questions in the chat real fast. But
playmat for Dragons,
people are asking about a playmat. Yeah. This is now again. Who knows that where this product and product line could theoretically go. But we've talked at length just to be fully transparent. Like, we didn't necessarily need to run a campaign for this game. Like, this game is affordable enough to print and produce that we could have theoretically just like tried it. The crowdfunding thesis behind this game specifically really boils down to, are people interested in a smaller box, pocket size, chip theory title? So this is, like crowdfunding often is accused of just being a pre-order system. This is probably as close to a glorified pre-order as we've done in terms of any of our titles, though Siege is still very much in development, and without a crowdfunding campaign, Siege definitely does not exist at all in its current state because we needed time to pull that together. But in terms of, but for that reason, again, like, this is just hyper streamlined in every sense. No stretch goals, and part of that, there was talk of maybe we'd have a couple of stretch goals, like really at the tail end, but then, like, again, not to go back to the downer of tariffs, but the tariffs kind of nuked that possibility. We kind of had to like lock and load this thing exactly where it stood. If this is really successful, and if there's a like big appetite for this kind of thing, I could see, we've talked about this already. I could see, number one, like potentially a few more accessories eventually coming to pass. Joe is very passionate about keeping all of his games fully palm playable. It doesn't mean you have to play them in your palm. You do not have to play Dragons in your palm. I anticipate most people, if they're sitting down at a table to play it, will likely play it out on the table. And so a playmat might make sense. But we also didn't want to like incentivize the idea of not playing it in your palm, because it is, even if it's not your favorite way to play, it is a very palm playable game. You can play it with just your two hands, and it works, and it's great, and it's travel friendly, and you can play it on an airplane, even if you've got your drink and your biscuit on your travel tray, so there's no room to lay it out. You can play it we keep going back to the DMV example. I don't know why the DMV keeps coming up, but I need to go to the DMV and get my real ID before I go to UKGE. But yeah, so for this campaign and moving forward, no plans for literally offering anything else. I will say we do have example wallets here. This is the direction that we are going to be. I don't know is there an overhead? The green here is that?
I mean, they can see it pretty well.
Oh, okay, perfect. So this is a prototype of the wallet. It's going to change slightly because we're still working on like the card capacity, and we don't know how thick the rule book for this is going to be quite yet. So we've got to make sure, or we're going to see if we can get the rule book to fit in here too. But here's an example of the wallet. And again, the goal of this wallet is not to hold the base and Northvale and Siege and the rule books. The base game box is going to be something in the realm of this thickness in terms of like how many cards it needs to hold, because this is a Tanglewoods. This is Tanglewoods Red for 20 strong. This is, I think, I forget how many cards are in this.
60-ish.
60. No, it's in the 80s. It's in the 80s. So it'll be somewhere in this capacity because we need 66 cards roughly with dividers and then the rule books. So it'll be about this thick, but it won't be this standard deck box cardboard. It will be more of a thickness like this. This was a prototype box we had made early on. It's not going to look like this in the end. I shouldn't show this because a bunch of you are going to be like, I love that, you should do that. If you don't do that, I'm going to be mad. But you can see the thickness of the cardboard here. It's going to be sturdier cardboard. That'll be what the base game box is made of, is going to be something along these lines. But it will hold more. Now, obviously, this, at this thickness, is not going to fit real well in your pocket. And the goal of this game is to make it a pocket travel game. So if you want to actually literally put it in your pocket, this wallet is very pocketable and very durable and very able to withstand your travels. It's just you're going to need to set up what you want to play before you travel with it. So if you want to play Northvale, you're going to want to fold your Northvale Mage into this ahead of time. If you want to play Siege mode, you're going to want to set up your Siege setup in here before you go and take it on the go. So that's the goal of this, is to truly make it a pocket game. It's got the CTG logo emblazoned on the back, and it's got the Dragons logo on the front, and that is the deluxe wallet. So no plans for a playmat. No plans for any additional accessories. We're kind of trying to keep this real streamlined and deliver fast. We're targeting the holiday season. We had actually originally wanted to get it out for Gen Con, and that's not obviously going to happen. But we're pretty far along. I think the base game is largely locked and loaded. There's a handful of little tiny UX adjustments we still want to make. But it's in a really, really great place, and Northvale is in a similar place. I don't think Northvale is going to change a heck of a lot between now and release. So it's really down to Siege and then getting the new rule books laid out and making sure that those pass muster, and then we'll be off to the races and printing this thing pretty quick here. So,
Hey, Gilly,
yes.
if we're not doing a playmat, can we do a glove?
A glove? Would that be? How would you feel about that? A neoprene glove, Joe?
Oh my gosh, a neoprene glove?
Yeah. I mean, it has to be neoprene.
Cool. Well, yeah, I did.
Maybe edge stitched along the fingers.
It seems like something you would do, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you did that.
That sounds like maybe something for April Fool's next year. Actually, we'll see what we can do. Not for this campaign, though. Not for this campaign. Truly, we're trying to keep this thing like as streamlined as possible for the purposes of this campaign. And then again, if like Chip Theory Pocket kind of becomes a thing, Joe, you've got more games out there that we think are really, really great and would love to maybe take a look at. And maybe it's a space that we even explore internally a little bit in terms of what some of our own internal designers can come up with for pocket games too. I think I agree with you in that sometimes, and 20 Strong started this way as well. It was like, hey, the constraint is 20 dice that are basically Hoplomachus dice and a deck of cards. What can we do with that? Working within those constraints can oftentimes lead to a lot of cool inspiration and innovation because you're forced to do more with less.
Can I so this is totally random, but I was going to ask you
Yeah.
kind of about the constraint when we were talking about it earlier. So you guys have sort of your tenets that you're known for, at least, pre the diversification of the line and like 20 strong and stuff. There's always like the chips, there's always the neoprene. A lot of times there's the dice. And so can you speak to it all in terms of the design process? Is that how much over the years has that informed the game design itself, where you guys were like, oh, here's the perfect use for this component, or was it, here's this game idea, how do we convert that into our normal component?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Production stuff.
Yeah, I know. So I can't speak for like Josh and Adam in the really, really early days, but originally the original like component thesis of neoprene and chips, now it's viewed as like, oh, that's the premium experience. It was not like intended as a like, this is so like lush and deluxe. It literally came from Josh and Adam really liked playing poker, and they loved how stacking chips and moving chips on neoprene felt. And it was kind of like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if a board game felt this way? And they were like, cool, let's design a thing, and it could be health chips. And then they got to the production manufacturing side of it, and we're like, oh, that's really expensive. Oh, yikes. So that's where the whole chips and neoprene thing started there. It started with we like poker, and it's fun to stack your chips while you play poker. And that's really where it started. Moving forward, yeah, I mean, we always try to, I don't know that it's ever hyper limited us in terms of oh, we won't do this mechanic or we will do this mechanic because of things. Where it's led though, as the brand has kind of become a no half measures brand, is if we want to do something, we just figure out a way to do it. Whereas sometimes in board games, when it comes to manufacturing costs or the need to add a component or whatever, there's a much more, and sometimes this benefits games massively. So I don't say this to be we're better because we always add it. Sometimes, that's not necessarily a great idea. But that's really what it's boiled down to for us on the design ethos side is if we want to do it, we will try to do it, and we're not afraid to add it, even if it means adding more components and that kind of thing. Sometimes with mixed results, I think the Cloudspire health dials, we're releasing the double thick ones as a part of the Harbinger campaign. I think those probably would have massively benefited from being double thick from the jump, but we were like, no, it's a chip, it works, we can turn it, let's just do it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm even answering your question really, but it's
no, that totally answers it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a chicken or an egg, impossible to answer question because I'm sure it all swirls together. But it's really interesting. I didn't realize that poker was sort of the genesis of.
Yeah, it is. And I will also say there's been plenty of designs that we have either passed on that have been pitched to us. Now for years we didn't even take external designs. We wouldn't have 5 years ago we wouldn't have probably even looked at working with you, Joe, at all. But there's been, over the last couple of years, there's been plenty of designs that we have passed on because we didn't feel like the weight was going to justify the amount of, if it's a smaller, take a smaller, I'm trying to think of a game, even like a Wingspan, it would be this doesn't, the weight of what's going on here. Wingspan's probably a bad example. I'm trying to think of a better one off the top of my head. And I can't, and I'm failing. It would be hey, to do this in the chip theory way would end up being so expensive that it doesn't necessarily justify the weight of the game. And so that's why actually the pocket thing really makes sense because we can do the PVC cards on it, we can do the fancy foil treatment, and it's still affordable. We can give it the chip theory treatment, and the price doesn't balloon to such a point that it that it betrays the weight of the game, so to speak.
That's Foundations of Rome, I feel like gets accused of that.
Yes,
with
correct.
That big production, and they're well, it's not that heavy a game. This could have been, and then they came out with whatever the next one is.
Yeah, Foundations of Metropolis.
That was just a normal production, but yeah.
Yeah. And so, but that's one of the reasons, you know, we've started this Neon Night line via Manny Tremblay, and for now it's entirely Manny's designs and his co-designer Aaron Hine and some of the other collaborators that he's had. You know, it's for now it's their games. Our goal is to build that brand out though to a place that it might be able to, when we get a design that we really like. And we're like, this is great, we'd love to publish it, but we can't justify what it would cost to do it the Chip Theory way. We have a line that allows us to like still do a really beautiful production on a game, but it's not beholden to the neoprene, it's not beholden to the chips, it's not beholden to the PVC cards necessarily. And so that's why that line exists, because it's not a judgment on those games when we pass on them because they become too expensive. You know, like if we passed on something like, I'll just go back to Wingspan. If we weren't offered Wingspan, to be clear, but if we had been and we passed on it because it would have been too expensive to make our way, it wouldn't have been a statement on the quality of the game. It's just a statement on the quality of, or not the quality, the cost associated with doing it at that level. Yeah, hey, $100,000. Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, keep on cruising. And man, and we're only, my goal for this campaign is 10,000 backers. And at this rate, if we hit 10,000, we're gonna be at a very, very healthy funding level. I'm very excited about that. Okay.
Awesome.
But yeah, so anyway, that's another kind of answer to your question. Most of the like ground up, I shouldn't say most, I've only had like one or two, but I've even had a couple of like ground up designs that I've pitched and it's been like, hey, that would be really interesting. I don't think that justifies the Chip Theory treatment probably. And so, and that's part of why 20 Strong exists also, because it's like, hey, we always know what a deck of cards costs and we always know what 20 dice cost, and we can always afford that. How many ways can we twist this system in interesting directions so that you know, we can do, it's a lighter experience, but we can still do it with our production value. It's still recognizable as a like Chip Theory product in that way. I don't know. That's a really long answer to your question, but yeah.
Oh, super cool. Like I was eating that up. I like the whole. It's as much a part of you guys as anything. Like your games have they would have a certain flavor regardless, even without the components. But yeah, if you're walking through whatever, a convention hall, board game store, it's like you can instantly recognizable. You're like, oh, that looks like a Chip Theory product to me.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's kind of nice to have that calling card out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We put a lot of energy into making our brand stand out, for better or for worse. There's plenty of haters out there, as well as plenty of people that obviously, if you're watching this, you probably really appreciate it. So there you go. I'm not seeing any other questions. Have there been any other questions in the chat or any other topics I should talk at 1,000-foot level on?
Somebody said 20 Strong Dragons of Etchinstone when? Can we get a Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual disc with neoprene on it to play cards on?
Okay, no, you cannot.
And then, what country is this being produced in?
Okay, what country is this being produced in? It is being produced in China. So again, I'll say this one last time. If you missed the discussion on tariffs, go back to the point in this live stream where we fixed the audio, which I think was probably like 7 to 10 minutes in, something like that. I talked at length just about what that means for us, what that's looking like. Again, just reiterating though, no, the MSRP has not changed based on tariffs. We have changed the amount of shipping we are subsidizing, particularly in the US on this campaign, compared to what we expected to subsidize when we originally launched it. So that is how we are factoring in the US tariffs. But also, yes, we are exceptionally confident in this price point, barring anything that is like completely crazy. So again, if a trade embargo goes into effect next week and we literally cannot get goods produced in China, we can't plan for that. And if we needed to pivot on where this was being produced, which would also probably mean we couldn't put it on PVC cards, we will communicate and we will give backers every opportunity to change their mind on like if any drastic measures are taken. But for right now, I was talking with Joe a little bit about this yesterday. You know, he was like, this seems like the worst possible time to launch a campaign. And I was like, in one respect, that's absolutely true. In another respect, this is probably the best possible time to launch such a like conservative product, which Dragons is, in terms of like, we know even if the cost of this were to balloon by like 300 or 400%, it's still not expensive enough to produce that it's going to like completely break us and completely like catch us out. So, and again, just to reiterate 100 times, I can't reiterate this enough. Like, Chip Theory is in a very healthy financial position, and we are we're not. This is not an existential threat to us. It's a painful threat to us. It's not fun. We're not happy. We're having lots of meetings about how to mitigate it and handle it, and so on and so forth. And it is truly, genuinely, no hyperbole whatsoever, it is a existential threat to a number of companies out there who are not as large as we are, and who have not been as fortunate to just gain the momentum and steam in the industry that we have. So please support smaller publishers right now if they've got things going on. I can't be genuine or like heartfelt enough in the way that I say that to make it match what I feel inside right now. Like, this stuff is a big deal for the board game industry. And for as many people say, like, just produce it in another country. Well, number one, every country on the planet, it feels like, is getting hit with these massive tariffs. This industry does not have high enough profit margins to make that make sense at all. To put it in the perspective of a card game, and this is just a card game, okay? This is not to speak of something like the Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of the Second Era, which has hundreds of components and unique cards. A card game, just a card game, costs 5 to 8 times as much to produce in the United States as it does in China, or frankly, many other foreign countries. 5 to 8 times the cost, which means, to put it in a game that you probably don't enjoy playing terms, a copy of Uno would go from $10 to potentially $30 to $50 if those print runs were happening in the United States as opposed to overseas. And so it goes beyond just like, oh, you guys like, or like the board game industry is like profit hounding. Number one, there's not much margin in this industry, so that's never the case. It's like the people working in this industry are doing it out of passion, not because we are like driving around Lamborghinis or anything. And then number two, again, there's always that like depth and enjoyment to cost perspective that we have to keep in mind, right? So like, nobody in their right mind is paying $30 to $40 to $50 for a copy of Uno, right? Maybe that's a bad example because probably none of you really enjoy Uno. But think of your favorite game and like extrapolate that out. Think of a game that you love the most. Think of a Mage Knight, for example. And now instead of $60 to $65 for the base Mage Knight game, that game is $200 or $150 or that kind of thing. That is what would happen if these games were produced stateside. And again, that completely ignores the fact that no infrastructure exists to print those games stateside at all, at mass, en masse, use my language properly. So this stuff's a big deal. This stuff is a big deal, and we remain hopeful and optimistic that a deal will get worked out and that, this is not going to be something that drags on for years. In the meantime, though, again, just to give you assurance from the Chip Theory side of things, not speaking for the rest of the industry, we are in a very good and healthy spot, and you can pledge for this campaign with confidence, and we are very confident in this price point moving forward, and that's what I'll say about that. So, again, sorry to end this stream on like a downer, because that's a bummer of a topic to talk about, but that's kind of where we're at. So, will this be available to demo at Gen Con? Yes. Yes. I don't know if it will be the fancy PVC shiny version yet necessarily. I believe it probably will be. I don't know that for a fact, but yes, we will definitely have this available to look at Gen Con, even if it's not out yet. You're standing there as if you are about.
Oh, I assume you're talking about like we'll have it at the booth. Will we have
Yes.
it for like
Yes.
demos
Oh, that I don't know. Like the event, yeah, through Gen Con events. That I don't know. That I don't know yet. I will also just say, if you've enjoyed this stream, if you enjoy me, if you enjoy Joe, because we'll probably have him back for maybe the Siege and the Northvale stream, if he's willing. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. That continues to help us get the word out about these streams, about these videos, and continues to allow us to communicate with y'all about all the weird, amazing, fun things that we are doing here at Chip Theory Games. So check out the campaign if you haven't. We appreciate all of you who have pledged for this campaign so much. It's already doing exactly what we had hoped, just to be perfectly honest with you. Our hope was just that this was such a low barrier to entry, kind of no-brainer purchase for people who love the type of stuff that we do. Thank you for your pledges. Please share the campaign with folks that might be interested. Please tell other people about it. And please, as it comes to crowdfunding, in light of the global situation, crowdfunding honestly is needed more than ever right now. These direct-to-customer sales are so critical for our survival and for our ability to keep making the types of things that we make. So please continue to back our projects. Please continue to back other publishers' products, smaller publishers, big publishers. Again, crowdfunding is going to be more necessary than ever in light of a lot of the uncertainty that's going on. That's not hyperbolic. That is just a reality of the current situation. So, Joe, any last words? Famous last words?
No, I mean, this has been great. These conversations are always fun. So I love talking about games in general and, just you, me, and the internet, having a good old chat. So a lot of fun. I'm incredibly grateful to all the people chatting and supporting the game. Like, super excited to see how well it's doing. Kind of a dream come true. So really excited about it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, until our next stream, which is when, Santoro?
The stream's not over.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some gameplay.
We're doing some gameplay.
For a base game.
Oh, the stream's not over.
Yeah.
This stream will never end. This stream will go on forever. Why did I not know that the stream wasn't? I'm an idiot. Please make fun of me in the chat. Please give me your worst, because I feel like a damn fool right now.
Santoro's doing some gameplay.
Yeah, we've got some gameplay coming up. Santoro's going to show you a full game of Dragons of Etchinstone, right? Yeah?
Base game?
Yeah. I didn't know that because I was here until 1 o'clock last night trying to make animated GIFs work in the campaign. And if I look haggard, if I look like I didn't shave, if I look like I need a haircut, it's because all of those things are true. And so I don't, Joe, you're not sticking around for gameplay, I don't think, but are you? Maybe?
No, but I'll probably, unless I'm needed, I'll probably drop off the stream, but I might
hang in the chat?
interact in chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break. And Andrew Santoro, who made, again, the amazing How to Play video, please watch that. Even if you know how to play the game, it's just really funny. There's lots of disembodied hands. And he's going to be back to show you a full game of Dragons of Etchinstone in case you are curious about that. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your pledges. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Say bye, Joe.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
See you in 5 to 10 minutes.
Back, it's Andrew. I'm here now, or as I'm referred to, Santoro, in the office here. I'm gonna do some Dragons of Etchinstone gameplay with you, in case you want to see that. We're gonna be doing base game today. If you want to learn how to play the game, I'll kind of be doing that a bit here, but I won't be focusing on it. So if you want to learn how to play, check out our YouTube video that I just put up, where I teach you how to play in more detail than this. We have a new green screen camera set up, taking some inspiration from the folks over at Dice Tower, actually. I liked what they did with their green screen camera. So we're going to do that here. Let's see. I'm not sure if that's something that we're doing yet, but there it is. There's the new camera, so that stuff.
The dragon's upside down.
Of course. This game's all about flipping. Also, it's quite dark, but
Yes. Let me.
that's more of a, if I adjust that, the key will be a bit different. We'll
That's
iron
fine,
it
I
out
can
in the
adjust the
future.
key.
You want me to adjust the darkness? Sure.
Turn the brightness up.
Let's do some live messing with stuff here. That's darker. That's brighter. That's even brighter.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then I'll just adjust the key.
Okay. Yeah, it might get a little gross there. Feel free to keep asking questions. I might have less answers. Certainly, I have no answers on tariffs. I am just as confused and worried as everyone else. So check out the front of this stream with Gilly talking, or the very end of it with Gilly talking, to learn about what he thinks about those things. Okay, so that is our new setup there. Could you flip this camera? Does that work? Because this is much.
Yeah, I should be able to do that.
Because I am going to mess up my orientations if not, which is very
Try
important
now.
from folks who know this game.
Perfect. Oh,
yeah.
wait.
Let's see. It's not showing up for me yet. I'm on a delay.
Now it's the other direction.
Interesting. Can we do a horizontal flip as well?
Oh, let me just,
This is fun experimenting. Hello, is the card position within the action set finalized? Having the leader card be second from right seems super counterintuitive. Well, I felt the same way, and that's why it's not called the leader card anymore. It's called the spell card. So, yeah, that's just...
Right, here is the sweet spot.
Oh, okay. So, how that works, it is your action set
I'll go over a quick breakdown on how this game plays. Essentially, we are making our way through this deck 4 times, and then we're going to be fighting a dragon of our choice. If anyone has any preference for which dragon they would like to see me play against, I believe Rodving is kind of the starter fella there, or at least that's what I outlined in the old video. Nope, that's the opposite. I'm on a slight delay here, so we'll see. But yeah, basically the card position doesn't matter too much in base game. As long as you know it internally what you're assigning where, you should be fine. Once you introduce Northvale, I'm also looking at this computer a lot for chat. But once you are using Northvale, the position matters a lot. So it's good to sort of get the position thoughts into your head during base game so that you have that for when you try to wrap in Northvale. I'm covered by a dragon, so I'm going to move these, which will be helpful in the future. I'm always got dragons on my mind. So how this game is played, we're going to be making our way through these region cards. So these region cards, yes, that's very helpful. These region cards, I'll position it so that it's not covering me completely here.
I gotta tune it in.
Nice. Oh yeah, because it's a little bit different from. You can peek the screen, right? Because you're still in.
Yeah.
Or no, you're not actually.
Kinda can, but like.
I'll look behind the curtains. We'll get to gameplay though. So basically, this game has 4 regions. So we've got our Jade Mountains region, in which we have 4 enemies. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got our 4 regions, or our 4 journeys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forgive me, I'm up till 1 or so editing this video, and light on sleep. Campaign's doing great though. Thanks so much, everybody. There's region 2. We have a separate card for region 3. We have a lot more cards in this for readability. So these are nice and readable, where we can also have all of our iconography and everything.
And also, obviously, due to the green screen chroma keying,
Oh yeah.
green colors on those region cards don't look the best.
Yeah, if you're, let me see, a great example here is I believe this troll man, enemy 2 in this area. Oh no, he's still showing up pretty fine.
They don't look
I'm
that
actually
bad.
surprised.
It's a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah.
But again, it'll
But
look
if
better.
greens are having an issue, that is why. So we've got our regions. We have our reference guide. This is a little bit out of date. I printed this one off and sent off the fresh, new, good ones to all the content folks. So how you're going to start off this game, I believe I have my deck over here. Is that in camera? It should be. So we have our set of these
Top camera needs to be focused.
mage cards.
Let me do that. I can.
Are you sure? Oh yeah, it would be a huge pain for me to do it. What size will the cards be? Standard poker. Yeah, they're about standard poker size from what I have seen here. Which makes sense. Yep, that is a safe assumption. And yeah, they're going to be... Do I have another card reference? Is there cards in here? I don't know what those are.
Do you want to move the
Sample cards.
the mage card real quick so I can see the back?
Sure. This guy?
Yep. Or no, it's on top of the overlay.
Oh, I see.
All right,
This.
everything looks like it's relatively in focus. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely taking everything into consideration. Positioning is definitely the easiest thing to get in mind. Really, once you change the name from leader to something else, it feels less weird. But we just don't want to add more iconography. These are so icon heavy already with how deep and crunchy this game is. But yeah, we'll definitely think about it. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't feel that weird though, I will say. As the #1 proponent for the leader card should not be the 3rd card in hand. I like where this ended up. So we're going to start by orienting all of our cards so that I believe this is correct, the 2 side should be face up. Let me see. Man, this delay is
Spin
so slight.
There you go.
Why is that one? Is this back to being upside down again?
Oh,
What's this
wait.
dragon showing?
It's because we're on a different seat.
Oh, okay.
Let me spin that.
Yeah. So this should match this. Let's reorient. We'll figure it. Yeah.
Absolute cinema.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so we are going to set with having all of our mage cards, is what these are now called. Mage cards are all going to be set so that 2 is the number up top here. Got it? That's easy enough. And you're going to make sure. Sometimes you'll have to flip to check. Sometimes you'll have to turn them upside down. They have 4 possible levels on any given card. Then you're going to shuffle up your deck. And you're shuffling it. That's how you start the game. Oh, we have chosen a dragon.
Red.
Red.
I
Yeah.
chose red.
Rodving. That's our dragon, man. I'm going to show an example of how it is played out of hand. I will not be playing it out of hand because that is bad for the camera. But it certainly can be played out of hand. So I've shuffled my deck. Now I have my region card, which will sit atop my deck. Yes, all checking out so far. I'll set it over here. The region card has been placed atop the deck. The dragon gets to sit. Oh, sorry. Your unused region card sits at the back of your deck, and then the dragon sits slightly elevated behind the region. So that's what it should look like from the top. If our camera setup's good, that should be good. Hey, there it is. So how
The shadow from the.
from the green, it can't compensate for it. So essentially, what you're going to be doing is also just a note up top before I get asked, unless this is being asked right now. This is printed off in Office. This is not a final PVC copy. So gameplay is going to be, I will have 4 cards in hand from this deck here. I'm working my way through this deck 4 times to get through all 4 regions. Once I have passed all 4 regions, I will fight the dragon.
Joe's correct. You don't need the dragon technically sticking out,
Technically.
but
I like to, just so I can see him. He's lording over me the whole time. But I'll take the region card. Pop that down here. Top card will tell you what journey or enemy that you will be facing. This is not actually the one I'll be facing because I haven't drawn my cards yet, but that is essentially how that works. So I'm going to draw a hand of cards here just to get started off. So we would hold it in our hand as such. Thus, we would draw our 4 cards as such. Bloop. Region back. Got my 4 cards in my hand. I'm no expert at drawing many cards. And I orient them like this. You will want to do that because all the icons are on that side of the card. So, we have our things here. We can consult our enemies and we can consult our cards in hand while we build action sets. Got it? Good. Great. Love it. So, what we have drawn for our action set is the Adapt card, the Fleet-Footed, and the Motivated Flight. Some cards are double names. That is different therefore different colors. So yellow Fleet-Footed and purple Fleet-Footed. I believe there's also doubles on Reign of Blood.
I'm right there. Actually,
Oh, are you pulling in?
I'm zoom this in a little bit.
Yeah, that's.
Is that good? Maybe?
Yeah. Adjust these ever so slightly, maybe. We gotta wait on a delay to see if it works. But these are my 4 cards. I will pop this one over here so we have a detail shot. So essentially, how a card can be broken down is when a card is in your hand, you're only going to care about the information upon the left side of it. The right side is all upside down. That is if the card is at a different level. So ignore it right now. Up top is your level. Right next to it is the elements. There's an icon, but it will match the border. So red has this little flame, yellow has a little lightning bolt, stuff like that. Icon there for colorblind friendly purposes. We looking out for you. Right next to that, we've got the title of the card. Like I said, some of the titles, we've got multiples. Right below the level is the key card icon. That icon's only going to matter if this card is inside of your hand. Also, I have an old copy of this game, I'm realizing now as I look at it. This experience over here is actually at the bottom now, just so you only have to care about the left. Right now, this would have an upside down icon for this one. So just something to keep in mind. Right here is our initiative. If this card is acting as our element card, it will be providing the element as well as this initiative. That is going to matter in enemy fights and our final enemy battle. It will not matter during journeys. Below that are our actions that we can take. If this card is your spell card, it will be one of these two. So if this is paired with a non-matching element, this will act as the base action or basic action, which would provide 4 boot, which is movement. Other ones have a little flame, which is attack. Right now, based on my hand, I'm really hoping I don't have an enemy on top of the deck because I have a lot of boots in my hand. Right here, the yellow is if this is paired with a yellow element, also has an icon there. If this is paired with a yellow element, it will get this enhanced action. And that's if this is your spell card. Below that is if this is your boost card, this is the value you can use to boost either your initiative or your action for that action set. Below that is the armor value of this card. This one has a 2. Most of your level 2s will start with 2. I'm looking at 2 3s in my hand though, so it looks like I can take some big hits up front here. But if this shield itself has an element, that means it can block out double the damage if that is the type of elemental attack coming at you. And below that should be this experience icon. Like I said, I've got a slightly older copy right here, so this icon here would be that. But right now I'll just be consulting that when I want to level cards up. So this is my opening hand. We can peek this one here to see, oh no, it is an enemy. Ruh-roh. Okay, so we have an enemy. It is going to be enemy 3, which is this little crane fella who has 9 health, 6 initiative, 2 blue attack, and 2 blue defense. So our current hand, we have the ability to make 9 move, 5 or 9 move, 5 or 9 move, 4 or 8 move, 3 or 5 move or attack. So this is kind of our only option for dealing damage right now.
Yikes.
It's a pretty rough start. So how we could basically, if we didn't, we can get around this a little bit, but if we were working with this enemy, I could put this as our element card, pair this with our adapt. So right now, the adapt is providing this action. This is our spell card. This is giving us this 5 because it is paired with purple. We also have an initiative of 5. Now we can apply a boost. I'll apply this as our boost, and then our unused card is our reserve card, and that will go right at the front. This is the orientation of your cards here. Essentially just reserve, element, spell, boost. So right now this would be providing, this is providing nothing. Next to it, this is providing the element and the initiative. So this gives us an initiative of 5 and a purple element. Over here, this is providing 5 move or attack, since it is paired with a purple element. If, say, these were swapped, this would only be giving me 3 because it's not a matching element. And then the back here is providing a boost. So this could give +2 to either my initiative of 5 or my attack of 5. Actually, this isn't the worst. I think that so the other option I could use at this time, let me just give this a refresh because my chat has disconnected. And again, feel free to ask questions as they come up. But should I put this over here? I'll put this over here, and then I can reorient here. so that these can be on the screen at the same time.
The overlay card a little bit more to the left.
Bloop.
Right there. Perfect.
So essentially my crane there has 9 health with an initiative of 6. If I can't beat its initiative of 6, it will hit me with 2 early damage, 2 blue early damage. If I additionally cannot completely defeat it, dealing 9 damage, I will suffer another 2 damage. So I will take 4 damage if I can't beat its initiative or its health. Right now, I'm not beating either if this was all that I had. So this would be providing 5 attack, 5 initiative. This is actually very similar to the scenario I laid out in the video, in the how-to. But I will be using this boost to boost my initiative up to 7. So now I have beaten the crane fella's initiative there. 7 to 6, higher. I won't suffer early damage. 5 damage is dealing at least half of his
Half rounded up.
health. Half rounded up, which would be 5.
Yep.
Exactly. So, half rounded up, I've dealt exactly that. I'm doing a purple attack, and he has a blue shield. So I am not getting any additional damage blocked out. I will be dealing at least half to him. So if I can deal at least half, I get his experience, which is 5, based on this little icon over here. Since I didn't completely defeat him, he will hit me once. He doesn't hit me twice. We did dodge the early attack, but we will get hit.
You could say it's a narrow victory.
It's a narrow victory. If I would like, and I won't because this seems fine to me, I could choose to divert, I believe is the keyword we chose.
Divert is
So if you want to divert, how that works is you discard a card from hand, any card, before you build your action set. So you would discard a card from hand, and you would discard the key card of the deck. So that would effectively change the encounter that you would be facing. Maybe you'll get something better. But then you have less cards in your hand, and at the end, during cleanup, you're going to draw back up to 4 cards. So the more you divert, the quicker you're going to move through that expedition deck, the less time you have to level up your cards. So right now, we're going to make do with what we have. I am going to peek to see if that 5 experience even really matters, which kind of doesn't. This kind of is a really bad opening hand. So my costs to upgrade, and again, this is why we moved the costs over to the left side, because I have to do this now. But 3, 3, 4, 4. So there's no great way to spend 5 experience. I will not be able to use it. So I might actually divert, because that kind of stinks. Yeah, I'm going to divert. So I'm going to discard this fleet-footed, and I'm going to discard the top card, the key card here. We are diverting. So discarded cards will move to the back of the deck. That is going to be behind your dragon, I believe.
correct.
I did it right in the video, I swear. The top card is now our new key card. Again, this would all be stacked. I'm just doing
Have
it
you
this
drawn a
way.
card yet?
I don't draw a card if I divert. I'm just down a card. So that is our new symbol, essentially. So we were looking at Journey to the west. No, looking at Journey to instead of Enemy 3. So maybe that's better for us because we had a lot of boot stuff going on. So Journey 2, much less experience, so we could get 3. We do need to generate 8 boot. The colors here, if we match these colors, we get to add our reserve card as an additional boost. We no longer have a reserve card because we're down a card. So it's not going to matter too much. But we want to generate many boot or move. I should get used to calling it move because that's the name, but it is a boot, so I call it boot. So what we are going to do there, initiative is not going to matter for this, so I will pair this 9 here with a yellow so that I get that 9. And then I can plus 2 to that, so 11, more than enough. Yeah, I gotta get used to that orientation. So more than enough to overcome Journey 2 there. So I have beaten it. Had I failed to beat it, I would suffer a time penalty. So what is a time penalty? You consult the little hourglass here, and you discard that many cards from the top of the deck. So for this one, you would be... for this one, I would be discarding the top one card of the deck, which will, again, move me through the deck quicker, leave me less time to level things up. So I'm glad I didn't suffer that. And 3 experience is pretty similar to 5 experience for this hand of cards. So now I can use my experience to level things up. I gained 3. These two both cost 3 to level up, so I'm going to level this up because it's a little more options, because it provides attack and boot versus just boot, which I assume, and I can check these before leveling, I assume both of these are just going to give me more move. Yes. So I will level this guy up. So orientation is going to matter a lot. So this is now a 3. These are 2s. So they will stay that way. And these will now also move to discard. So when we draw up, if we don't have enough cards to fill a 4-card hand or have a key card remaining, we move to the next region. But for now, that's not the case. So we draw the next 4. Thank you, Joe. To the right, to the right. Blam. So this is our new hand. And this is our new icon is Skull 1. I will just be moving the top card. This gives me a little extra information. I swear I won't look. But that is our icon. So we are looking at enemy 1, this nice little red panda over here in a gi. So enemy 1 looks fine. I haven't looked at my cards yet, but it has 7 health. 8 initiative is rough. 1 attack is not bad, and then 1 yellow defense. So I have 2 possibilities of generating 8 attack. They are not yellow attack, so they won't care about the defense. Let's see. Perfect. I mean, except for the divert.
No.
Oh, for this.
This one, yeah.
So red is my element. That's going to give me 5 initiative. We're going to do Rain of Blood paired here. That gives us an 8 attack for our enhanced action. 8 is enough to beat the health, so that's great. I don't think I do have a perfect victory here. Yeah, 8 initiative is just too much. Close to a perfect victory, but I am still going to get early damage. Unless I don't think I'm missing anything. No. I'm still going to get that early hit. This is a very thinky game. So this would boost me to 7 initiative. It has 8. Honestly, I would like to get to 8 attack instead of...
My bad.
Yeah, I know.
No,
You
I
got
just
the
took it as
exact...
8 health, 7
Yeah, no, I keep thinking that too. So I am going to get an early hit, which is rough. That's fine though. I can weather that fine. So question is going to come down to, what do I want to keep in hand? Because these boosts are not going to get me to 8 initiative, because I have a boost of 1 and a boost of 2. I do like how high this attack is, so I think I'm going to hold this as my reserve card here. And then my boost card is going to be applying +2 to my initiative. Gets me to 7 initiative, not quite enough to beat 8. I am dealing 8 damage though, so the 8 damage will, this is the exact opposite of the last one I looked at. So 8 does beat its health, so I won't be taking regular damage, but I couldn't beat the initiative, so I will be suffering early damage, which is 1. 1 point of damage can be fully blocked out by any of these shields. So how I have to suffer, I do have to suffer damage before I can get the reward, which is 4 XP. Let's see. I think I'm just going to put it on the River Swiftness. So I'm going to choose River Swiftness to soak the damage. This will soak up all of the damage because it's a 2. Only 1 damage is coming at me. So to soak damage, you de-level any cards that soak damage. The same card cannot be used to soak damage multiple times, and if I'm unable to soak the complete damage coming through, I will be knocked out, which is very bad because it degrades every card in your hand down 1 level, and then you discard the top 4 cards of the deck, which is essentially losing a turn. It is called losing a turn. It's not essentially that, it is that. But now I have 4 experience to spend. So only restrictions on spending. I can level up the same card multiple times if I have the experience. I will not have that much, because 4 is not a huge chunk. I cannot level up a card that was just degraded. So this River Swiftness, I cannot upgrade it. I believe that's all my restrictions. But each of these costs 3, so I am going to have some unspent XP. Oh, the other restriction, XP doesn't carry over at all, so use it or lose it. I'm going to use it on this Rain of Blood because this is my reserve card, and I like to level up things that I'm keeping in hand. I feel like that's a sound strategic move. So that is remaining in hand. I discard the action set to the back of the deck, and then I draw the next 3 cards from the deck here. I will place this over here. Uh-oh, I have my first icon. The bigger region cards are nice, but does kind of change the way I'd hold the cards to play. It might take a bit of getting used to. Yeah, it definitely changes it a bit. Having played both versions, I will say the region cards are super nice. Like, they're really pretty. I believe Federico did all the art on this. He did all our enemies in Elder Scrolls, and they look so good. So our icon there is Journey 2. So we've done that before. Should be fine, but we have an icon, which is that little lightning bolt, which is Storm. Take as much damage as you do time penalty. So that stinks, and we don't want to do that. So I do want to generate 8 boot, which feels very possible. Yeah. So again, I'm going to assess here. So we can generate 7 with that alone, but we have to pair it with a purple. The other action, I'll just say right here, I'm absolutely not going to do it with this hand, but it's important to note, you can choose, if you have 2 of the same color card in hand, to fuse them into whatever color you want. The bottom card that you fuse basically disappears, is not considered a reserve card, and it will be discarded with your action set, and you will maintain all the stats on the top card. But if you really are looking for a color, like right here, if I was really looking for purple, which I am, but I have purple here, so I'm good. I'm just going to pair this here, just so it's out of mind. I'm getting 7 boot, which is great. I think I'm going to hold on to this adapt. I like having a red because the attacks seem to be red. Maybe I'm overthinking that. And then I'll pair here. So I believe that's enough. Yeah, so I'm got a purple element. Initiative doesn't matter. Again, we're on a journey, not an enemy. We don't have to hit the journey first. Since it's paired with purple, we get the enhanced action of 7, and then we can +2 that 7 to 9, beating our 8. So it's a total victory. We don't get any time penalty, and we do not get damage, which we would if we had taken a time penalty because of the storm icon. Let me see. So, no penalties. I'm just getting 3 pure XP. And this is, the adapt is remaining in hand. So again, I'm just going to go with that strategy. I'm not going to think about it too much. Probably a bad choice for the long haul, but I like to keep in hand the things I'm leveling up. So, discard the action set. We draw the next 3 cards here. And then our top card, I think this is a fine little system I've done to do this. All right, so we're looking at Journey 1, and we've got a moon, which is night travel. So that's bad. So night travel means we're going to minus our initiative from the booster. So initiative very much matters in this one, which double stinks because we're not generating a lot of stuff. Oh, yes. Let me see. I think I'll just bring this in a bit, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So, and the journey itself is 12. Oof. Huh. So I don't. This feels like a divert to me. Because right now, Yeah, the most I could do is 6 boot plus 4. And if I did that, so this would be paired there, there. This would be my reserve card. But I would be minusing my initiative from the boost, so 5 minus from my 4. Ugh, woof. Okay, yeah. Let's divert. What do I want to dump, though? This is frightening. Yeah, dump this. Dump the burning bridges to dump this. I hope the top card is... Oh, I'm assuming I actually can't divert. Joe might be in the chat. I believe that's not the case. I have no top card anymore, so I think I'm stuck. Oh man, so I'm just trying to generate enough boot to get half at this point. So night travel minus initiative from the booster. Purple. I'd have to eat that to do that. 5. Oh, that gives me a 4. Oh. I have to get at least 6. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine. So, I will, in fact, do this exact layout that I was saying was so bad. So, oh, and Joe, also let me know if there's no cards left in the deck, how do I suffer a time penalty? Does that come out of the next region? Because right now I'm about to take a time penalty with no remaining cards in my deck. And this is an edge case I have not seen yet, but I know or I guess there's 1 card because that's my key card.
Take this damage.
That stinks. So if it's 2, would I throw 1 to the back for time and then take 1 damage? Or do I take it as both if I can't suffer the whole thing? So this is what I'm doing, regardless of answer here. Take as much, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I have assembled my set here. So my element is blue. It's giving me an initiative of 5, which I desperately don't want, actually. Since it's blue, I get the enhanced action of 6 move. Because it's stormy out, no, it's because we're traveling at night, I'm going to be minusing my initiative from my booster. So my booster, to a minimum of 0, so not -1, don't worry. So this is just going to be 6 boot, because this is providing 0. And my reserve card's not doing anything. So we have done it, essentially. I've done half, but we have to take a penalty first. So our penalty is 2 time. So we discard the top card, which was our key card. And then we can't take the full-time penalty, so we take 1 damage, which stinks. Actually, no, it's fine, because there's exactly 1 shield in hand. Yeah, I like that. Why not? But I have 5 experience to work with. That's... Oh, maybe no. Oh, man. I am not getting good lineups with how much things cost to upgrade. I could put this at 4, which might be good. That's the best use, I think. I could get River Swiftness up to 3. What does that do for me for... I think I want a level 4 card. I want my level 4 card. Since we've hit the end of the region, even our reserve card is going to get reshuffled into the mage decks. So we're going to gather up all of our cards. And you may ask yourself, what happens if I take damage on a card that's at level 1 already? Well, that card's gone forever. Don't do that. It's really, really bad. You trash any cards if they're at level 1 and then you suffer damage. So do your best to not let that happen. What is the purpose of the colored journey values? So if your journey matches, if the move you're generating matches the journey, you get to add your unused cards boost value to your move value. With journeys, if the color of your action matches the journey, you're like, yeah, you could. I should just read multiple comments. Joe's way ahead of me. So we're reshuffling here. We're swapping over to Region 2, the Living Marshes. this is a great game. I was introduced to it when we decided to make it, and I've not been disappointed. So I'm going to draw 4 cards from the old top of the deck here, or add 4 cards to my hand. I don't think that terminology exactly matters, but just in case it does. So that is our top card. Our key card is telling us enemy 4, who is given a lot of experience if we can do it. He has a little a little freeze icon. Discard unused card if you take initial damage. Ooh. So I just have to beat an initiative of 5. Deals 3 damage. 2 blue shield. Yikes, man, this stinks. Huh. So I think I'm gonna fuse here. I've actually never fused in this game. I'm getting a very challenging run of this compared to most of my games I've played. So I'm gonna fuse these. Because 2 blue cards, I'm gonna turn them red. So keeping this as my top card as my element. So red element with 6 initiative. I'm gonna pair that with this to give me 11 attack. And then I'm gonna give boost 2 to the attack. So I've used up every card in my hand, which is not ideal, but plus 2 to the 11 gives me 13 attack, 6 initiative, so 6 beats 5, 13 matches 13. It's not a blue attack, so no shield comes into effect. I have done him perfect. So that's great. I'm not losing any cards. Now I can use 7 experience. And this card does come back for the sake of me leveling up now. No cards are going to be kept in hand at this point, so I should just spend where I want to spend. Let's level this up because 1 initiative is kind of stinks. 2's a little bit better. So that would cost me 3. That cost me 4. Okay. This one would cost me 3. Ooh, but it would take the icon off this, which was a bad icon, so. There's a lot to keep in mind here when you're leveling stuff too. So, you can peek at values and stuff that will go up or down if you level up, but it's also important to consider what the key card elements are going to change if you level up. So this one has that night travel that was such a pain in the first region. If I flip it, that icon's gone. So I honestly want to do that just for that purpose. So that was all 7 experience. Fully discarded because of the fusion. Drawing top 4 again. It's the cat toy of the board game world. Tiny package with a lot of crunch like cat toys with that insanely loud crinkly stuff in them. It's true. Perfectly spoken. I'm going to draw the top 4 cards. So that was drawing the key card that we just had, in addition to these 4 here. And then our new key card is enemy 2. Enemy 2 has no icon, and there's no icon on the key card, so that's great. So he's got 10 health, 8 initiative. Okay. I can see an avenue to which we might be able to. So 10 is the health, 8 is the initiative, 2 yellow attack, 1 yellow shield. Well, I can't do a yellow attack anyways with what I have. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take some hit from this man, which I don't love. But I do just need to get to at least 5 attack. This hand is rough for this. Huh. I don't want to keep burning through extra cards. If I was very mathematically inclined, I could think in my brain what are the good numbers that I could take for time penalties and extra cards for fusion so that I maximize how many times I run through a region, but I'm not that smart. So I'm just gonna try and figure this out the best I can with what I can. So this actually has a different, fully different action for its base versus its enhanced. So this can generate attack or move. So I think I'm gonna pair something bad with this. so that I get the basic action instead of the enhanced one. So let's pair, I don't know, just River Swiftness with it. Boop. So that's going to give me 4 attack just on its own and 5 initiative. Oh no, that's 4 attack. Oh yeah, +2 does it then. So +2 is going to give me to 6 attack, which is enough to be at least half. I'm going to take 4 damage though, if that's the case. I might divert. This is rough stuff here. Yeah, let's divert. Please no enemy on top. Let's get rid of River Swiftness. Discard the adapt. Oh no. That's enemy 2 again. Well, that did nothing. Except make this, yeah, that's exactly nothing. That's rough. Oh boy. Isn't it inconsistent that enemies only block when the color matches the attack, whereas the hero mage always... Let me see. Isn't it inconsistent that enemies only block when the color matches the attack, whereas the hero/mage always blocks with the block value only doubling on a color match? Or am I getting it wrong? Nah, I mean, it makes sense. It's just... You know, hero and enemy stats do different things. Because the enemies also can't enhance their attacks. Their attacks are always enhanced. So, trying to find a mix of, like, always enhanced shields would be a huge pain. And I think this is a much more streamlined way to do that. Also, if this is a specific thing with... wow, I'm blanking. With how Mage Knight functions, Joe would be able to speak on that, but I could see that being a factor as well. So I'm going to do a very similar thing here. So throw this here to not match. Throw this back here as a boost. So we're getting a 4 basic attack because it's not paired with the right thing. +2 to that 4, so we're at 6. We will be taking 2 hits from this fellow, though. And we total all damage. So that's a yellow 4. We do have a yellow 2 shield, so I'm going to use that to double shield, which is great. I lined up perfectly. So this motivated flight is degraded. I did generate at least half of his health, so we do get to level up 1 card, it looks like. Again, this has got an icon that I would rather it not have. And that icon's gone, so I'm leveling that up. And I chose to divert, so that card was trashed. Oh, that would be terrible. Like, it may read weird, but oh, what did I do? Where did my key card go? I should have drawn it. Was it this? Was it this adapt? Somebody who's been watching and keeping track, let me know. I'm pretty sure that was my key card. I accidentally discarded it. The game does not need any modifiers on enemies dealing double their attack, certainly. Too busy answering your questions. I can't focus. Okay, so our next set here. Oh boy, we are drawing poorly for these layouts here. Minus initiative from booster. Huh. And this is region 3. 11. Half of 11 would be 6. 3 penalty. Oof. Oh, I think it's another divert. I've not used divert this much. I also don't know if I want to divert with a level 1 card, because I don't want level 1 cards to exist in my deck any longer. I'm going to divert using this. I am not an experienced player of this game as well, so if these moves seem bad or seem like I'm losing, beat me. Go back the campaign, get your copy, and do better than me. Okay, enemy 3 is our new symbol. Who looks just terrible. You may use move to attack this enemy. Oh, that's a purely good symbol. Okay. 15. That's a very big number. 4 attack. What are you doing, Joe? Yikes, man. This is terrible. Okay, so 2 initiative. I can beat 2. 2's yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm not taking 8 in this exchange. That is certainly going to happen. So this is our, oh boy, I can't if I do that. No, I can. So we'll do that. So we have 8 attack, 1 initiative, but +4 to my initiative. Okay, so I have done at least half. I have beaten his initiative, but I will take 4 damage. Oh, man. So I can take 4 over here and only... How much experience is he? He's giving me 8 experience? And I'm only going to be able to level up 1 card? Okay, so this would cost me 2, 4... versus, let's see, 8 experience goes me 4 to get, no, I can't, so 3. It's the only way that doesn't trash a card for me, so I'll soak the damage with both of these. Oh, it's so rough. So this goes down to a level 2, this goes to a level 1, those can't be leveled up. So now I have 8 experience to mess around with. So I will use 2 to level this up to a 2. I'll use 4 to level us up to a 3. And I have 2 excess, but this costs 5 for the next level up. I'm not playing great. This is me playing on low sleep while also contending with, running a live stream and explaining the game as I go. So I'm drawing the next 4 cards. That was a rough hit. We'll see. Also, I might be playing fine. We'll see. We'll see how it comes down to it with the dragon. We're only in region 2. There's 4 of these guys. Ooh, that's a good hand as long as we're fighting an enemy. Oh, and we are. Bam. All right. So our enemy is enemy 4 with multiple modifiers. Okay, so freeze. We are going to discard unused card if we take initial damage. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. The game is challenging, though. So let's see. So my top card is enemy 4. So we have the freeze modifier. So discard unused card if we take initial damage. That stinks. Don't love it. It also has this little icon here. Ambush. If you take initial damage, double it. So we really don't want to take initial damage from this fella, is what this all equates to. So how can we avoid that? His initiative is 5. I think that's fine. Oh, this stinks. I want to do that 10. I really do.
What happened to this being a good hand?
It's so close to the best hand is the thing. It really is. It's 1 off. It's literally 1 off from beating everything. I can definitely beat initial damage. That's not an issue. I'm just trying to see if there's a brainier way to do this. I think I'm fusing again. I swear I've not fused in this game very much, so this is also a new avenue for me. So I'm fusing these 2 blue cards. We're keeping the Sword of Light on top to provide its 8 initiative, which is nuts. And now it is red. I have fused, so I get to choose my color. So red, it's going to give me 10 attack. But then I can only boost by 2, which is so close. Which gives me 12 attack. But this dork's got 13 health. But I'm not taking initial damage, so I'm discarding anyways because I fused. But I'm not doubling initial damage, which is rough. Yeah. Aw, shucks, everybody. That's so sweet. I'm touched.
For the record, Santoro, just to balance out the world, I think you're doing absolutely terribly, and I think.
Oh, good. Thank you. I needed that. I was getting a swollen head.
Yeah, I need you to come back down to earth here, buddy.
Okay, so this is red. 8 initiative. So this is giving me a 10 attack plus 2, so up to 12. One shy. One shy. If this was leveled to the other side, 13 damage. Ugh. Okay, so close, but no cigar. So 3 damage we will have to suffer. That's fine. So 3 damage. What are we taking it? But we will get 7 experience. So I'm trying to think. So I want to keep 3 and a 4 so we can fully use. This is the math. So I think I'm going to soak it on this destruction. But that destruction level up was 4? So math-wise, I'd be giving up 4 experience to utilize 7 here. Oh, and also he's dealing 3 damage, so this doesn't even block it out fully because it's 3 blue damage. I think I'm going to put it on here because it only costs 2 to level it up. Yeah. Put the damage there. Fully soaks it because it was a 3 shield. Now I can work with these 2. I'm not going to level you up because 5 would leave me with 2. So we're going to use 4 to get this to a level 4 and 3 to get this to a level 3. Also, I don't know if these flip or shifting orientations are going to remain the same, so I don't know how much that matters to anybody, but I often will see questions on campaign things that are no longer the case. And I go, why are you watching a live stream like 6 years after the fact or something? But people do it. All right. New hand. We still have a key card. Okay, I think we're running to the bottom of this area, so that's why I am actually surprised that we have more deck. I've not been counting at all. So Journey 1, no icon on the key card, but the journey itself has one. We're going to get 9 experience if we can do this. Oh, boy. Looks like we might be able to. What is our icon? It's Little Rocks. Treacherous. Take 1 damage if not a complete victory. Don't worry, I want that anyways. So I'll take 1 damage in 2 time if I can't do it. But I can do 9 boot right there. And it wants 10. Yeah, I think we got it. So 9 is our spell there. Our element, I'll just pair it with you, I think. Our boost, get us up to 11. Yep. All right. And then we can keep this Rain of Blood in hand. Bam. Love it. Beautiful action set. Beautiful every time. So we have generated purple. Initiative doesn't matter. So purple, 9 boot plus 2, 11 boot. And that's a boot right. We get to keep our reserve card. Zoop. No penalties. We're great. Leveling up. We have 9 experience. I feel like a god. So this guy's already fully leveled, so let's not look at you. 9. So we get 2, 4. It's not going to be a good split there. So I think I'm just going to put 4 and 4 here. Get that to a... oh, I do want to get this out of 1 range, though. 2, 4, 4. No, it's not. It's not worth it. Better to use more experience than to I can get myself to a 4. So that stays in hand. These are cycled to the back. Do we have enough for the next hand? So that plus... wow. Oh my... I forgot to put the back card in, so I actually don't know at the back. I believe that is the back, though. I would have to go back and consult, because I'm fairly certain Fleet-Footed would... I think this card would be here. This is off camera. Did I ever see this yellow Fleet-Footed yet? Or this purple Determined March? Or this red Motivated Flight in this region? That's my question. I just cheated and put that to a 4 when it was a 2. I think that's the end of the region. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to play it. I completely forgot to put the region card back in. So we'll play it as though, that was right. Big asterisk next to my victory here, I suppose, but pretty sure that's how it works. Can you remind me how the time penalty works? Is it discard that number of cards? It is discard that number of cards from the top of the deck. So it is basically you're wasting time because your deck every time you work your way through the deck, you move to the next region. So you can consider the cards remaining in your deck to be your time. Nice. All right, so fairly certain that was the end of the region. Otherwise, I like 8 a day. It's fine. I'll make it. I will not forget to do that here. So this is going at the back of the deck. Here's evidence. It's back there now. See it? We love it. It's there. New region, region 3, the Burning Basin. I'm going to be drawing the Fleet-Footed. Oh no. Okay, we'll see. That's 2 level 1 cards in hand though, which is what I was trying to avoid. And then this is another level 1, which is giving me probably a nasty icon. Yeah, that's a pretty nasty icon. So I'm going to be fighting enemy 3 with the hazard effect, which is going to make me lose 1 time for each damage I take. This man hits me for 2. He has a 9 initiative, and he also has... What is that effect? Poison. For each time I take damage, take 1 damage next hand. This seems awful. What is his health? 11. Oh, boy. What is his initiative? His initiative is 9? I have to divert. This is a terrible, terrible hit if I take a hit here. Yeah, that's just too frightening. Too frightening. Could be a wrong play. I don't know. That guy I can't do a total defeat. I don't even know if I can beat his initiative. I think I would get hit twice. Yeah, I would definitely get hit twice, which is, no. Would I have 5 plus 4 from the boost? I could have matched initiative. It's fine. I'm just going to divert because he scares me very much. And make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, yes. They have been discarded to the back. I do have the red armor, Joe, but I'll take damage, won't I, from a poison? Or is poison only going to trigger if I take... No, because the damage hit the armor, right? I would get hit again, right? Let me know. I don't want to take any damage is my key. That's my trick. That's my secret cap. Is I don't want to take damage. It's those famous Hulk lines. Well, this would be great if I had any boot. I would get poisoned, yeah. That's what I thought, which is what frightened me so. So I do need to generate 11 boot for this one, which is bad because I can't do that. Not even a teeny tiny bit. See that I can generate half though. So I can do 4 plus 4. No, I can't do 4. That's a lie. I can do 2 plus 4, which is half. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. So we'll settle for the journey. I don't love it, but we're doing it. So it's 11. There's no modifiers anywhere on these cards. We need to generate at least 6 to get experience. So I'm going to pair this, our only boot, really, with this to get the basic action because I don't have yellow. So 2 boot plus 4 makes 6 boot, exactly enough to meet half. I will get the penalty, which is going to make me discard the top 2 cards of the deck, I believe including the key card. And this guy. So discard top 2 cards. I've been timed out. But now I have 5 experience to work with. I need to make this level 1 card not a level 1 card anymore because, oh no, it's such a bad lineup. 5 experience and 1 experience. Oh. I'll just level this up multiple times. That's what I'll do. So 1 experience. 3 leaves me with 1 extra. But now I don't have a level 1 card in my deck, which was what got me bad there, I think. Still doing this right? Still doing this? Yes, I am. Perfect. Okay, so I draw my new 4 cards. I have to keep in mind that I am trucking through this deck pretty quick because of that journey penalty. So, and I also diverted once. Yeah.
Right.
These guys? Yeah. Good idea. Okay, so my new hand is pretty okay. Let's see what we're facing. Enemy 1, which is this cool, weird Velociraptor guy. I don't even know what he is. He looks awesome. 17 health. Oh my. 17? What are you doing to me, man? 5 initiative. That's fine.
Purple armor.
No, that's fine. Okay, so I mean, this is pretty close. I think I'm just swapping these. So I'm gonna pair here, giving me 5 initiative, giving me purple, gives me this. So I have 9. He has really good armor, which stinks. But, you know, no effects, right? I'm not, okay. So right now I'm dealing, I have 5 initiative, I've met his initiative. I'm not gonna think about it anymore. 9. He has purple armor, so this is actually 6. Plus 3, 9. 17 health, so 9 is good. Did any of the numbers change between the original game and this? No. This is exactly the original game, just with a new UX and new rules. And not new rules in the sense that the game plays differently. They're just written better.
Quality of life.
No offense, Joe. These rules are written a little bit better.
It's quality of life.
Yeah.
It really is.
It just reads more intuitively, I'd say. Okay, I've done at least half. Yes, that's right. Take that offense. So I've done at least half. I've did 9. You can take back all the nice things you've said to me. So I've done at least half of his, but I am going to be suffering 3 damage, 3 purple damage. This purple shield is fine to, that purple shield's actually the only thing that would absorb the full hit without doing another card. So that's rough. I will in fact do that because I don't want to do multiples there. Rules have improved. 17. Yeah, 17's rough. Can you say something about the leather case?
I'm on it.
Wow, it's right here. It's not final. This is an idea of it. Here it is in the top down. It's not final. So the shadow. Yeah, it's gonna have a cool glow, isn't it? Chip shy games. Why not just shy theory games? We can get rid of the chip, then people don't have to worry about there not being a chip.
Or just theory games.
Just theory games. It's all about the theory of a game, you know. We have a theory for a game. Wow, that is some glow. That's also some delay, because you mentioned that a while back. So this took my damage. I should get my rewards before I forgot that I got any. 9 experience is wonderful, though. Okay. 5 is good. But what can I do here? I can do 2, 3. Do I have a 4? That's great. So I'm going to go 3 here. It leaves me with 6. I'm going to go 2. And then I'm going to go 4. Bam. Efficiency. That's what we're all about. I get to keep the adapt, right? Because that's...
And you took your
Oh
damage,
my
right?
goodness. How did I have these arranged? Yeah, I took my damage on this, which is why I set it over where my reserve card was, but I don't think it was my reserve card. No, it was acting as my attack. It was paired with this as the element. It was getting a +3 boost from... Which was my unused card? I should have... I believe the Burning Bridges was my unused card. Correct me if I'm wrong. Fairly certain that was the case. how close each encounter is. The game gives me major heart of the card vibes every turn. I mean, the thing is about this, balance-wise, right? Should these all be level 3s? I need to stop talking. This is too thinky of a game for me to be talking as much as I am. It's very crunchy, as in like every encounter just comes down to it, which is what I love in a game. My favorite thing when I'm playing Elder Scrolls is how down to the wire every encounter feels. All right. I'm playing on as though Burning Bridges was my unused card. If I was wrong, please let me know. Otherwise, that is what I'm doing. So our top card is telling us we are caring about Journey 2. 12 yellow boots. Oof, okay. Oh, that's fine. No icons, so I think we're good. So I can go 9 boot. If paired with a yellow, oh no. Oh, you're all so mean. No, this is fine. So 5 boot. Can be paired with anything, really. I'm not really I super thinking about my actions as much as I definitely should be here. Oh, I don't think I can get there. I think I can get quite close. I can get 11 boots, certainly. And I need 12. I can't fuse because everything's different colors. I don't think I should divert 3. Am I allowed to check how many cards I have left in my deck? Joe, that's a good question that I have. I'm saying it's a good question.
Yes.
Okay. So I've got... If I take that time penalty, I'm going to take 2 damage. And I have exactly 1 card left in deck, so I can divert. Oh, man. I think I do it. And I think I discard this. Oh, man. Let's discard this. I'm just doing it. I'm diverting a lot, which I think is a bad strategy overall. But we'll see. We'll see. So, new key card. It's the last card in the deck. So, 1. Enemy 1. Back to our 17 health friend, which is also quite bad. I think we're fine though, right? What was his initiative? 5. Okay, we can do this. So here's our element, purple element. So we've got 5 initiative, purple. So we get this 9, dealing 9 attack. We can boost our attack. It doesn't really matter. Oh, it does because he has purple shield. Actually, it matters greatly. Oh no. 11 minus 3, 8 attack. That's not half. Oh, that's bad. That's quite bad. Is this the best set I can make? I think it is. Oh, if I don't make it purple, I won't have... Okay, maybe... Oh, I don't have any other attack options. No, I do. Okay. So what I can do... I can just swap. So here's my element. Red. Sure. Not doing that, so not a 12. It's, in fact, this 5. And then I'm going to plus 4 that, so it's 9. I will take double damage if I do this, though, which would be 6. I have 2 purple shields, though, so I think that's better because I will get experience at least. And let's see. De-leveling this is essentially losing me 5, but he's gaining me 9 if I get experience. So, yeah, this is the math. This is better. So, this is my set. I have made 9, which is half. I'm not making a purple attack because I have not enhanced my action, so his shield doesn't come into effect. He is going to hit me for 6 because I've taken early and regular damage. I will soak it up with this purple 4 shield, which can soak up to 8 purple damage. So this is going to de-level. Can't use experience on that, but I can use my experience here. And I've got a 5 and a 4. Perfect. This was actually wonderful, and I'm a genius. Perfect. Region 4 is where we're at now. Blam. Yeah. That's what I'd say. It's very much knife's edge for, like, if you're going to win or lose. And very much like you just saw, I'm just restructuring hands over and over to see what I can do. Heart of the Cards, a term that I, as a big Yu-Gi-Oh man growing up, I would not say what Yu-Gi practices in most episodes of that show would be called skill, so much as luck and cheating. Yeah, when you just sort of declare cards work the way that you want them to work, you probably can call that a balanced or good one.
My woolly mammoth gives my arrow the enchantment of turning your dragon old.
My favorite is still the episode in which he's fighting like the evil clown man. The first evil clown man. Yugi does challenge multiple evil clown men, but in this episode, oh boy, does that guy ever? He's gonna set him on fire if he loses. And there is there's like a hover belt that he had placed on his castle, which was keeping it out of Yugi's range. But then Yugi played Swords of Revealing Light to make his monsters stick in place, and then broke the hover ring on the castle with another card, which made it fall onto the monsters, which couldn't move out of the way because of the Swords of Revealing Light. Not how any of these things function, really at all.
To the right of it.
Which, this guy? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We're focusing on me because I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll say. Okay, so our key card.
I like when Seto Kaiba just, like, changes the rules.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, first season Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, they sort of just declare how cards work as they play them, based on how the plot needs to play out. Sorry if this was already asked, but will expansions fit in the box for the base game? I believe that is addressed on the campaign somewhere, but I believe all 3 expansions fit in the base game box. Carter can tell me if I'm wrong, probably.
I think you're correct.
I know the wallet is designed to hold like 1. Or like
Your wallet
hold base
is meant
game
to
or
be-
base game plus a few extra Northvale pieces or...
Yeah, you choose what you want to play on the go.
Yep.
And you pack it in your wallet ahead of time.
And then you keep it so it fits in a pocket instead of being like a big old chunky box. Also, make sure to watch. We're going to be playing through Northvale next week and also talking about the campaign again. So if you want to join us next week, same time, same place. Not the same time because, it'll be next week, but same kind of time. Back to the game. Enemy 3 is what we got there. It's got an icon, which I don't love. It's the... I hate that icon. Lose 1 time for each damage you suffer, which is fortunate because this guy only does 4 damage. Okay, so we're fighting this Wendigo-looking fellow here. Was 14 health. Yikes. He's got freeze. Discard unused card if I take initial damage. He has an initiative of 8. Gross. He has both yellow and red armor, which stinks. It stinks, as Jay Sherman would say. And he has a yellow attack. I have no yellow shields. And I can't generate too much attack here. Yikes. So I can do 5. I can generate 10 attack. And my 10 attack... No, that would... Oh. Man. And that would make it a blue attack. Ooh. my best course of action is. Maybe this is. So he has have to deal at least 7 attack. That's what I need to think about because I'm not killing him outright. So 7 attack, and I want to beat 8 initiative. Yikes. I can't beat his initiative. Or can I? I think I can. This is what I do like about this game. It's feeling very boxed in, and then it comes together. So if I put this here, this is going to be 8 initiative, basic action of 5 attack, and I just need a +2 and I'm golden. I mean, I'm not great, but, like, I'm living. No, only icon is if I take... lose 1 time for each damage you take. I don't... That stinks real bad. Oh, I think that's how it has to be, though. So, our action set. Yellow element, giving us 8 initiative. Matches his initiative, gets around the freeze issue. Our unused card can tuck over here. So, yellow giving us 8. 5 attack, +2, 7 attack is at least 14. There is no color to this attack because we have not enhanced it. I believe is how that works. Oh, 1 time penalty for each instance. I'm not taking 4. Okay. Okay. That's so much better. I thought that was incredibly punishing. Okay, that's great. That was going to hurt so bad. Okay, 1 time damage. I believe this set is not yellow as an attack. Am I correct, Joe? I believe it has to be an enhanced attack to have a color. Right now, I believe this is just this gray regular attack. So the armor would not be blocking any. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. But I believe I'm dealing 5 damage +2, 7 damage, meeting initiative. So dealing at least half. Basic attacks are neutral. Love it. Okay, so exactly half damage, exactly enough initiative. So I just need to take 4 damage and 1 time penalty. So time penalty is going to cycle this card to the discard. I'll suffer that right now. And then I need to take 4 yellow damage, or as we call it with the cards in my hand, 4 damage, because I have no yellow shields. Which is more efficient to D-level? So you cost me 4, and you cost me 3. It's probably a better deal to D-level you, blocking out. This is a 4 blue shield, but that's also fine for 4 yellow. You've been used to soak damage, and I've been gifted with the wonderful gift of 8 experience points. So I've got a 3 and 2 5s. I can get rid of this icon if I level it up. So I'll do that. Not that it matters too much going into the final, I don't believe. And then I'll level up this 3 because it's the only other place to put it. Perfect. Okay. To the or no, I had an unused card. Oh my goodness. I'm so bad at tracking. I believe this was my unused card. Please let me know if I'm wrong. I believe it was the red card that I did not use. Okay. Would a single 2 armor card be able to handle both the early damage and the regular damage? It depends. If it was 1 instance of early and regular, that would total to 2, and a 2 shield could block that out. But say it was this one that's dealing 4 yellow. If I took early and regular, you always total all instances of damage. So if I took early and regular from this fella, enemy 3 here, I would be taking 8 damage. I would have to use that amount of shields, basically. So I would have needed to do the 4 shield and then another 4 shield somewhere else. Where did I take the damage to? This guy? Yeah. I believe this was my unused fella. Yeah. If you need to take early damage and normal damage to those damages, oh, yeah, answered both questions at once. Great. All right. New hand, key card in place. I don't love this, I don't think, but we'll see. It's a journey. With a storm, take as much damage as you do time penalty. That's That's rough. Okay, I see the exact wording on those. Okay. So Journey 3 wants 12 red boots. And I will take 2 damage in addition to 2 time if I cannot do this. I've really been prioritizing attack leveling up, and I am seeing the error of my way now. Is it too late? We'll see. I do think I need to fuse here. No. Huh. So if I can get yellow boot, what do I need? I need 12. Don't want to take any penalty because that's also damage, which is going to be rough. So I think if I fuse, I can make yellow. Initiative's not going to matter. And then I can +4. I think that's the move. So I'm going to think too hard on it. I'm going to fuse these 2 fellas into a yellow. Keeps all other values. Doesn't matter because initiative doesn't take place in a fight. That's going to give us our 9 enhanced action, +4 from the boost. So we have a 13 against that 12. So no penalty. So I don't take damage or time, and I do get 5 experience. I will have to discard the full hand, though, which isn't ideal. I'm going to use the full 5 to level this up because it's efficient. I'm just going with efficiency. The blue card was reserve. Let's swap that out. I don't want to. What did I level up just now? Let's take it back. I leveled up destruction. So this card would instead be this card. I don't know if that matters that much. I think it plays out exactly the same, right? Oh, actually, it actually plays out better. Kind of. There's yellow. +5 to it, so 14. So we're still good. Okay, so I have 5 experience. Level up destruction. Oh, yeah, and I'm fusing, so there's no excess cards. Bam. Okay. Blue. Let's draw the key card. Draw the next 3. For the journey/boots points, do you gain any perks for having the same colored boots as the travel requirement? Yep. So essentially, if you match the element, which I've been unable to do, or if I have done it, I have done it through fusing, so it has not given me the boost. But essentially, if you match the color of your journey, so say, I mean, right now, yeah, I'm doing a journey right now. So I'm doing Journey 4. Journey 4 is 11 yellow. So if I produce a yellow movement, which I'm not going to, because my only enhanced action here is blue for movement, but if I generate yellow movement, essentially I have matched it. I get to add the boost from my unused reserve card to the total in addition to my regular boost. So it's a pretty great benefit, especially now that my boosts are like getting really big. I just have not been able to line it up. Let me see. So I am doing 4. Oh, so many icons. So 11 yellow is what we're looking for. Night travel, we're going to minus initiative from booster. Oh boy, we got some high initiatives over there. So we're going to have a 0 booster. That's what it looks like. But in addition, we have steep. Increased journey's movement point value by unused cards boost value. Oh, that's sadistic. 3. 3 is the penalty, which I can take the penalty. So as long as I can generate half, I think we're good. Because I won't be able to play out another hand anyways, because there's only 3 cards, or 4 cards left. Yeah, no. This game is so much fun. It's very cool. I like it. So I just need to generate half, and I'll take the penalty. Because I'm not taking any additional damage. It's just harder. Yeah, so yeah, if I do this, I think we're good. So blue matches our boot there. And then, yeah, just +4. Unused card over here. So blue. 4. With this thing, we're going to minus our initiative from our boost to a minimum of 0, so 10, negative 10 to 4, so down to a 0 boost. So we have 9 movement, which is enough to be half. Or no, increase Journey's MP by unused cards boost value. So +3, so that would be up to 14. 9 is still good. Okay, so doing half, do have to discard the top 3 cards of the deck for the time penalty, which leaves us with 1 card left. So we have finished the 4th region once I have finished leveling up. But in the meantime, I have 5 experience to apply. I don't know how I'm sitting here for the final. I'm going to use it here just for a fish. It's the final battle. What do I want? This is more versatile. These are higher numbers. I think I want the versatility. I'm so frightened of this final battle. Okay. So, final battle is upon us. So now we replace our region card with our man. There he is, old Rodving, the last breath. I'm going to take out this region card before I accidentally shuffle it in. And we're just going to give these a shuffle. And how I am going to run this over here is I'm going to tell you how Rodving works. So Rodving, the last breath, we're in our final battle. We're going to have to use our journey values. So we're going to have to go on a journey. And then if we survive that, we're going to have to go on a final enemy fight. So we're going to take a penalty no matter what in both phases. But the higher the value that we can generate, the less punishment we're going to take before we hopefully win. So Final Journey has 20, 23, 28. So I need to generate at least 20 move, 20 to survive at all. But 20 is also the worst because I'll have to take a time penalty of 3. If I can get all the way up to 28, I'll only take a time penalty of 1. That'll make sense in a moment. All right, so how the final fight here works, or the final journey. You're going to be drawing the top 7 cards of the deck. So this I might have to reorient it a bit here, but I think I've done a reasonably good job of setting stuff up. And this actually looks like a pretty good hand, I think. Yeah, so 7 cards. Why I have 7 cards, we're going to be building 2 distinct action sets with 1 reserve card. The reserve card is not going to carry over to the next fight. It is just there in case you want to fuse, which I believe I will want to do that. So our target is, we would love to do 28, but we have to do at least 20, otherwise we have perished on the way to the peak to meet old Rodving. So I would love to get, let's see here, I have no blue cards in this entire hand, or yellow. So this card's, one other thing we can do, if we would like, we can choose to go another way. So if we would do that, we would discard one of these cards, shuffle up the rest, put them to the back of the mage deck, and draw a new hand of 7. That is going to leave us with less cards to challenge the final battle. Because in the final battle, you're just going to get to draw the entire deck that you haven't drawn already. So we want the biggest deck that we can going into the final fight. Yeah. Now, I like that you either beat the dragon or you don't, but then you have to weather this huge last blast from them before you go. So we're certainly going to be using this for its 12 boot. So we're going to pair that with this. Why not? So 12 boot is what we're looking at for this one, and then we can apply a booster, but I will think about that as we continue. This guy has a bad boost, so I'm not going to use it for a boost. And so right now we have 12 boot with no adjustments. Gets us almost all the way there. I think I'm going to fuse these 2 fellas to make a yellow card. So that I can pair that here. So yellow, giving me this yellow boot. I mean, I guess I could just 9 boot. Yeah, what am I doing? I don't know. It doesn't really matter, does it? No. I don't get to keep the reserve card anyways, so I'm gonna fuse. I like fusing, I've found out. And then I'm gonna +5 up here, I'm gonna +3 over here. So this is gonna give us 9 boot, 12 boot, plus 12 boot, 24 boot, plus our boost here, 29 boot. Let me know if that's wrong, but I believe we have done 29 boot, which is the highest tier. We're only gonna have to take 1 time penalty. It's not bad. So, all the cards in your action set, discarded. Blam. Time penalty of 1, discard. Blam. Draw the rest of the cards. I have the maximum amount of cards going into this final fight here. All right, so, oh, I could have gotten that number a little bit higher if I used the red, because of the red journey there. And I wouldn't have fused a card. That's what the benefit would have been. So final hand. We've got Rain of Blood level 1, Brute Force level 4, Fleet-Footed level 1, Sword of Light, Destruction, Frostfire Wall, Motivated Flight, Adapt. Cannot go another way on this one, so let's cross our fingers. This one looks a little less promising, I think. So this can do 13 if it's paired with this. So that's pretty good. It's not final. We might rework these. So this is going to do 11 if it's paired with this. These are some good values. I can just go +4 and +4. Just leave these guys off to the side. He has red defense, so he would block if we do that. Oh yeah, I should explain as well. That is a great hand. Final battle is a little different than the final journey. So again, you are just going to be trying to make highest value, but you're trying to focus on attacks. You also want to have a high initiative. So once you've built your 2 action sets in the journey as well, you total them together. But in the final battle, you're also going to total your initiatives together to try and beat these initiative values up here. So Rodving here has a 9 initiative, and if we are unable to beat that 9 initiative, we will take 9 attack. And then he has HP tiers, and this is how much he will blast us for depending on how much we are able to deal to him. We will take the initiative damage in addition if we are unable to beat his initiative. So with these 2 sets I've built, total our initiatives, that's 12. It's pretty good. We have beat his initiative. No worries there. The actual damage I have thrown together here, 13 plus 4, we have 17 on that set. And then we have 11 plus 4, we have 15. It's 32. We have a red attack. So he has 4 red shield. That brings us down to 28, I believe.
Correct.
So that leaves us at the 2nd tier here. So we're 1 shy. Could I have done more? I think that's honestly the best set I could have built. No, I think it is.
Are the 2 Rayhan cards?
These are reserve cards basically. They're my unuseds. I think these are the best. Yeah, because the only thing I can see is swapping this in to be a different attack, but 11's still higher than 10, so.
You could potentially do like 1 more damage.
Which wouldn't do it. And I don't think any, right, If I could make it not a red attack is the only thing, I guess.
Yeah, but then you lose
I lose 3.
bonus by 1.
Yeah.
You increase your damage by 1, but you lose 1 as well, so it's just even.
Yeah. Okay. So I am 2nd HP tier. So how these work, whichever one you reach, we have reached one, so we have not died outright. But now I have to suffer the damage of that tier. Since we reached this tier, you suffer the highest tier that you reached in damage. So I have to block out 24 red damage. He is blasting the living daylights out of me. Each card in hand can only soak damage once per damage phase. So this is going to block out 6 because it's a red shield. So 6 there.
18.
I'm looking at 18. So, I mean, I think we're fine. So 6, 9, 12, 15, 19. And we still got these 3 safe. So these would all de-level. It doesn't matter because we've won. We've beaten the dragon. That's the easiest difficulty, I believe. That's just the base difficulty. So that's Dragons of Etchinstone base game. I believe this is the base difficulty dragon as well. So your other guys here, you've got Verhost, Death and Darkness.
I think that might be my favorite art.
I know. I love this weird centipede dragon that Federico did. But he has 2 different shields as well as a higher attack. Or no, lower attack, but multiple shields. Let me see here. We have Helsang the Undying, who also has 2 different shields, which are higher values. And then we have, of course, Grimrock, Scales of Stone, who has 3 shields, which feels very appropriate for a scaly boy. All right, that's Dragons of Etchinstone. That is how it goes. Again, check us out next week. We're going to check out Northvale, an expansion I have no idea how to play. Carter does. I should buy them, hopefully. These ones also have that new experience layout that I was showing there, where the experience is on the left-hand side, as these should be. It has some new region cards with some also new cool art. Man, I didn't look at these either. These rule. Look at this weird little blobby man. Look at him. He's a weird little blob. There's an owl bear. There's this little freak up here.
Sweet.
This cool little gnome. Awesome. So that's Northvale. We'll check that out next week. Make sure to... Card on my face. Yeah, I love it. That's me. I'm that lady now. But yeah, we'll be checking this out next week. So make sure to check that out. If you want to be alerted to any of our streams, make sure to give us a subscribe on YouTube. It's the best way to be alerted of when we do stuff on YouTube. I believe you can enable all notifications as well if you want to really be alerted to us. Give this video a like. Check out the how to play video if you haven't already. I spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears making that video. So make sure to check that out. If you find it helpful, give that one a like as well. And check out the campaign, of course. It's live right now. We're doing the best we can for tariffs and all that, but, you know, we're going. It's live. It's doing well. I haven't looked at it since I've been on stream. I assume it's doing pretty good still.
Take a look.
I know it had just passed 100K when I had seen it, which is
127,000.
That's insane, y'all. 127,000. Thank you so much. That is wild, wild stuff on a game this small and price light. Make sure to check out this game. If you search it up on YouTube, we should also have some other stuff coming from content creators that we have sent this game out to. So if you want to see just not me playing it and doing so good, maybe some other people do a little less hot. You can see it in all its facets. I don't know. I'm just good at games, you know. But yeah, join us again next week for Northvale, and a week from then for Siege, as well as any questions. And if you have any questions at this point, let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll stick around for like a second here to see if there's any last-minute questions, but that's how you do it. Also, check out our campaign trailer. It's very good.
Yeah, it is.
It has a man getting blasted in the face with fire, which is good and funny. Not like a sad way. I wouldn't want to see that actually happen, but
It's in a funny way.
it's in a funny way. All right, it looks like Northvale expansion rules videos. Maybe, certainly when the game comes out. Maybe not before the campaign. Those rules videos take a long time. Long, long time.
Tune in next week for all that.
But tune in next week to learn how to play it in this way, in this format. There's other dragons too. I didn't even show those. They're somewhere. You'll see them next week. Thanks so much. Have a great one. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.